you. Aurora Borealis lives on you. You. And I run so far away. Ooh, night and day. Wait, I'm live. Hey, y'all. Aries season got me a little amped. All right, let me set up this live stream. Just a minute. Hello, everyone, to everyone who is coming in. You, you, and I ran so far away. Night and day. Hope everybody is doing well. Like I said, I'm setting up the live stream right now, so bear with me, please. And I'm so happy to introduce some new content to this channel, Tarot Tuesday. So if tonight goes well, we're going to be doing this at least twice a month, 2 Tuesdays out the month. That's what I can commit to right now, because I never know, what I might have in the future. So I can only commit to 2 nights. I mean, 2 Tuesdays out the month so far. And before I get into the tarot readings, already I have 3 participants, so that's awesome. Um, and if you want to participate, you have to donate $7. You could do it via Cash App. I'm gonna post a Cash App or Super Chat in the description. So just 1 second. I'm just grooving to some 80s hits right now. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. Mhm. All right. Mhm. Happy birthday to all the Aries. It's your time to shine. Easy. Mm-mm. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Got no human race, eyes without a face. Sometimes I really get sad when I think about the 80s. Oh my God. Like, because the 80s was such like a magical time. If you weren't there, I'm sorry, you had to be there to really experience it. But maybe some of y'all were there in another lifetime. You never know. Like if you like just have an affinity with like old school music, like from a certain time period, like the 80s or 70s, 60s, and maybe you were born in the 90s or 2000s, maybe in a past life you were really like thriving during that time period where you like that type of music. I think it's definitely possible. All right, let's see who we got up in here. So we got, hey, Dr. Ken. Let's see who else we got. We got Indigo. Hey, Indigo. We got Annie. Hey, Annie. Hey, Ellie. Clarinda, what's up? And Diggable Planets and moderators, you get to participate for free. So I'll pull some cards for you for free. And for this particular Tarot Tuesday, it is going to be structured. So basically, I'm structuring it Everybody's getting 3 cards that's going to be about self-exploration because it is Aries season, and Aries is about the self. And Aries, above all other signs, has to put themselves first, because if they don't put themselves first, they're not going to be good for anybody. They're the one sign that can get away with being selfish. But sometimes Aries can take that selfishness a little bit too far. But Aries is supposed to be somewhat selfish, somewhat self-absorbed, somewhat about focusing on the self, because the end goal for Aries is self-actualization, basically being the highest version of yourself. Now, of course, there's a lot of Aries out there that really don't strive for self-actualization, but that is the ideal for Aries, to become the best version of yourself, to basically maximize your potential and really live out your purpose to the fullest extent. No holds barred, unfettered. Unfettered, that's a good word to describe Aries, because Aries is just about full force, no restrictions, no limitations. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Now, who said that? Oh, that's right. Aleister Crowley said that. Now, he was a Libra, but he had his North Node in Aries. And his North Node was in trine with his Leo ascendant, if I'm not um, mistaken. So even though I don't agree with his doctrine and I don't agree with his beliefs, that whole do what thou wilt, yes, that's very Aries. And he definitely lived according to that credo. So, hey, it is what it is. Now, I hope everybody's doing well. Who else we got? We got Ethereal Witch up in the house, the Queen of Diamonds. What's up? We also have Blazing Black Dolphin. Hey, Cameron, how you doing? You said, I honestly wonder if I was in a past life. Love 80s everything, but I'm a 90s kid. I just bought a brand new Swatch watch last week. Oh, I used to have a Swatch. I love swatches. You probably were alive in the 80s. You probably passed away maybe 1988 or something like that, or 89. And then you were quickly reincarnated into the 90s. I do believe some souls are reincarnated rather quickly. And I believe it depends on how attached you are to the material world. If you're very attached to this earthly realm, I could see how the soul would want to come back rather quickly. And maybe we do have a choice as souls, whether we want to come back and when we come back and all that type of stuff. I don't know. But part of Tarot Tuesdays is also going to be about exploration of some of the mysteries of life. So I like to consult the cards on questions that I've always had about life, about death, about, why are we here? What happens when we die? So I've done readings about things like that and been able to get some great insight into the afterlife and basically how this world works and all that. So again, for tonight, somebody posted a super chat. I got to keep track. Let me write down who that is. Thank you for your super chat. So you're going to be another participant. So that's Element. Okay. So you're number 4. And like I said, Diggable Planets and moderators, you can participate for free. So just raise your hand up if you want me to pull some cards for you. What I'll do is I'll pull the ones that donated first, and then I'll get started with the Diggable Planets and my moderators. I definitely feel like I feel like I was born in 75, but I feel like I was alive in the 60s because I really resonate with that 60s music. Now, granted, my parents, they basically raised me on a lot of 60s music. But again, I just resonate. And I also resonate with early 70s music. Like I was there. Even though I was born in 75, I resonate with music from, okay, we got Regine. Hey, Regine. So, Regine, you're going to be 5th in line. Thank you so much for your super chat. And then we got Clorinda. Hey, Clorinda, you're number 6. And again, these cards that I'm going to pull is about self-exploration. It's Aries season, so we're going to be focused on ourselves. Thank you, Ethereal Witch, for your super chat. So you're number 7 in line. So I'm writing this down to keep track. Because sometimes, we might want to put a lot of focus on other people in our lives, but sometimes we need to take some time and put some focus on ourselves, and we need to take a temperature check with ourselves and determine like who are we at this given point in time? Where are we at this current point in time, and where are we headed? So that's what we're going to be exploring tonight. But before we get into that, let me share my screen because I just want to provide a little introduction into tarot from an Aries perspective. So I'm going to be talking about some of the cards that correspond to the sign Aries. And because I love music so much, I decided to basically explain the cards through music. So let me just share my screen. I'm feeling fine up here on cloud nine. All right. I'm feeling fine. See, I was watching that Temptations movie not too long ago, and my daughter, my oldest daughter, she said she watched it not too long ago either. So we was singing songs. And if you've never seen that movie and you're into music, check it out. It's a really good film dealing with the Temptations. But I love Paul. I love the guy that played Paul's character. Hold on, let me move this out the way. You can be what you are. You're a million miles from reality. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Let me just pull up the live stream on my phone so I can follow along. All right. So Tarot Tuesday. Welcome to Tarot Tuesday. Let me see. Who is it? Okay. Got to keep track. All right. So welcome to Tarot Tuesday, y'all. This is the first installment of Tarot Tuesday. So welcome everybody. And tonight we're going to focus on Aries, in particular self-exploration. And I have this image of Russell Crowe, and he happens to be an Aries. And he starred in the film Gladiator. If you've never seen the film Gladiator, check it out. It's a really good film. It's like a period piece dealing with the Romans and the gladiator times where they were like fighting each other and fighting like tigers and shit like that, and in the Colosseum and all that. But Russell Crowe, he basically plays an Aries in this movie. So Maximus, that's his name. So Maximus, his character Maximus is like the epitome of an Aries male. Even to the point where in the movie, what's his face? Emperor Augustus, he wanted to make Maximus the next emperor instead of his own son because he held him to that high of esteem. But yes, if you haven't seen the movie Gladiator and you want to get a bird's eye view of how Aries gets down in a very positive way, but there's also some tragedy woven in there, check out this film because Russell Crowe, he does an excellent job just exemplifying that Aryan energy. Are you entertained? Are you not entertained? I love Gladiator. All right, Asia, thank you for your super chat. So you're going to be number 8 for your self-exploration reading. Thank you. All right, so there's some cards in the tarot, and I mainly focus on astrology with my channel, right? But every now and then I talk about tarot and stuff like that, and I do read tarot as part of my repertoire. So know that if you're not familiar with tarot, know that with tarot, it blends well with astrology. Like there's astrological correspondences, dealing with the tarot cards. So for instance, the first astrological correspondence related to Aries would be the Emperor card, which is card number 4 of the major arcana. So the Emperor, if we're talking about music that can represent the Emperor, one song that comes to mind, like when you think of the Emperor, he's the big boss, he's the head honcho. He is the one that is basically going to war and he's taking skulls. He's a conqueror. He's a world traveler as well. He's Big Daddy. So the Emperor, Big Papa. I love it when you call me Big Papa by Notorious Big. So hopefully this is going to help you to get familiar with these cards. So this is kind of like a crash course in tarot using music because, again, I love music. I got my Venus in Libra. I got a Taurus South Node. So music is a big part of my life. So, and my sun is conjoined in Neptune. So Big Papa, Notorious Big, that's a song that can really exemplify the energy of the emperor. Move, Get Out the Way by Ludacris. Because the emperor, he's the type that will mow you down. Like, you better get out of his way. He doesn't say, excuse me either. Father Figure by George Michael, because the emperor is the father of the tarot. There's other cards that can represent fathers, but the emperor, he's he's the father figure. And then war, because the emperor does go to war. As you can see, he does have his armor on. You really can't tell unless you look at his boots. And that's how you could tell, oh, yeah, he's a fighter, he's a warrior. So that song, War, what it is good for, absolutely nothing. So that by Edwin Starr. Now that's an old song, but check it out. Killing in the Name of by Rage Against the Machine. That song gets you amped up and ready for war. So that's another one, very emperor. Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin. That's basically dealing with like the Vikings and how they were conquering the lands of Europe and all that stuff. Come from the land of the ice and snow, from the midnight sun where the hot springs blow. Hammer of God will drive our ships to new land. All right. So immigrant, because the emperor, he's been basically, you got to look at the emperor is he's a pioneer, he's an explorer, he's been all over the world. Shine Star, thank you so much for your super chat. So you're going to be added to the list of readings. You're a shining star, no matter who you are. Shining bright, you see what you could truly be. All right, Indigo said, love that song, right? Good God, yes. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Indigo, I'm gonna have to bring you on again soon. Another one, Bites the Dust by Queen. That's another one. He's even talking about bullets flying and stuff in that song, bombs and all that. So yes, another one, Bites the Dust. Very much the Emperor. Another one, Bites the Dust. Another one, Bites the Dust. All right, the next card that corresponds to Aries in the tarot deck. I'm going down like the hierarchy. I'm going from top to bottom. So King of Wands. Now, King of Wands, he could be any of the fire signs. So we have to include him for Aries. And the King of Wands, he don't answer to nobody. He's like the Emperor, but he's not on the level of the Emperor per se. But if you want to get a perfect representation of the King of Wands, that would be like Maximus in the movie Gladiator. Because again, remember, in the movie Emperor Augustus, he knew he was dying, and he wanted to pass the throne on to Maximus instead of his son, and that's why his son killed him. All right, who else? All right, let's see. Ethereal Witch, and thank you for your super chat. And then, okay, I got it. All right, thank you. So you're all right, Abu, you're number 10. Thank you for your super chat. All right. So the King of Wands, he doesn't take no, like, he doesn't put up with any bullshit. So I'm the Man by Aloe Black. Oh, wow. Y'all, a lot of people want readings tonight. Okay. Thank you, madam, for your super chat. You're number 11. Madam 25. All right. So that song, and you can tell everybody, I'm the man, I'm the man. Yes, I am. All right. And then the song Super Bad by James Brown. Super bad. I got the Midas touch. Everything I touch turns gold. That's by Midnight Star. So that applies. I'm bad. I'm bad. Jump on. I'm bad by Michael Jackson. Yes. I'm bad. I'm bad. You know it. And that song He Is by Heather Headley. If you don't know that song and you're into like soul music, R&B, check it out. I love that song. Heart protector. I don't know the lyrics. Yeah, take it. She's basically saying he's everything. And the King of Wands, you might look at him as like, yes, he's everything. Papa's Got a Brand New Bag by James Brown. I had to get James Brown in there twice. All right, now we come to the Queen, Miss Thing. So the Queen of Wands. Now the Queen of Wands, she's a boss lady for real. And she can give the King of Wands some, run for his money. Like, this is where they could get into trouble with each other. this is why they got to have mutual respect, because both of them are very dominant. Both of them like to be independent. Both of them like their freedom, and both of them don't want to be submissive. So they have to have that mutual respect. Now, she's a lady. Whoa, 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 she's a lady by Tom Jones. All the women independent, throw your hands up. Wait a minute. How that song go? Damn, I'm drawing a blank. All the women independent. Y'all know what I mean. Destiny's Child. I'm bossy. I'm the first girl to scream on the track. I switched up the beat of the drum. That's right. I brought all the boys to the yard, and that's why I'm the one that's tattooed on his arm. I'm bossy. I'm the one y'all love to hate. All right. Yes. And Khalees is a Leo. Now, I'm every woman. It's all in me. Because the Queen of Wands, she could do it all. Anything you want done, baby, I do it naturally. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I can cast a spell. You see how she got the black cat? Secrets you can tell. Make a special brew. Put fire inside of you. See how she said fire? You know, Shaka was an Aries. I mean, is an Aries. Ooh, she's still here. Lord, I didn't mean to say was. She is an Aries. All right. And then Wildflower. If you're not into old soul music, I know Indigo probably know about Wildflower. If you don't know about Wildflower, I'm sorry. You need to get educated into soul music. This is from the 70s. She faced the hardest times you could imagine. Many times her eyes fought back the tears. Lord, Lord. Oh my God, I want to cry when I hear that song. But yes, Wildflower. Wildflower. Let her cry, 'cause she's a lady. Gypsy Woman, that's another old song. Not the one by Crystal Waters. I'm talking about Gypsy Woman, Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions. She was a gypsy woman. Oh. And then My Chick Bad by Ludacris. I got a memory about that. So one time I went to my friend's brother's wedding. This was in Hawaii. I got a free trip to Hawaii out of that. And during the wedding reception, when the bride was coming out, they played My Chick Bad, My Chick Hood. Yeah, that was cute though. All right. And then Nasty Girls. That's right. Pleased to meet you. I still won't tell you my name. Don't you believe in mystery? Don't you want to play my game? I'm looking for a man to love me like I've never been loved before. I'm looking for a man who will do it everywhere, even on the limousine floor. 'Cause tonight I'm living on my fantasy. 'Cause guess what? The Queen of Wands, she don't beat around the bush. If she's attracted to you, she gonna shoot her shot. My own little nasty world tonight. Don't you want to come with me? Do you think I'm a nasty girl? All right. Think they got water on the brain. And then Foxy Lady by Jimi Hendrix. Foxy Lady. Doom, doom, doom. All right. Next, we have the Knight of Wands. Now, I love the Knight of Wands. Hey, Kawaii Honey. So, Kawaii Honey, you want a Celtic Cross, baby? Okay, for the whole year. Even though I was only doing, but we're going to make it very much about self-exploration. So this is good. So Kawaii, you want a Celtic Cross? I will make an exception for you because you be holding me down. All right. Knight of Wands. So I love the Knight of Wands card. Like with my Jupiter being in Aries in the third house, I'm very Knight of Wands a lot of times. Like the way I talk, the way I think, very Knight of Wands. And sometimes people might get offended the way I talk sometimes or some of what I say. And that is very Knight of Wands. Like Knight of Wands, he's insensitive. He's not going to coddle you. He's not going to, be all delicate with your feelings. He's going to tell you what's what. Now, you know that song Bad to the Bone. Bad to the bone, bad, bad. Now I didn't even know who sang that song, so I had to look it up. So that's by George Thorogood and the Destroyers. I will die for you. Yes, Dr. K. Tell me if I want you to you. Now, Eye of the Tiger. What about that by Survivor? It's the eye of the tiger. It's the thrill of the fight. And look at his robe. Kind of looks like a little bit of tiger print, a little reminiscent of tiger print. So yes. Oh, hard is a good one, Ellie. I'm so hard, so hard. Yes, that's a good one. And don't she got an Aries moon? That's why she came up with that song. But yes, Eye of the Tiger. It's the eye of the tiger. It's the thrill of the fight. Even when you hear the beat of that song, doesn't it sound like it could be a horse galloping? Yes. Tooley said "Let It Burn" by Jasmine Sullivan. I don't know if I know that song. I'm gonna have to check it out. I got to run to keep from high. So Midnight Rider by the Allman Brothers. And I'm bound to keep on riding. I got one more silver dollar. And I'm not gonna let them catch me, no. Not gonna let them catch the Midnight Rider. All right. Midnight Rider. Burn Rubber by the Gap Band. That came out in the early 80s. Burn rubber on me, Charlie. Oh no, 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 no. Because this could be a woman too. This could be a woman that's running through men like a linebacker. So Burn Rubber could be about a woman. Well, Burn Rubber, that song is about a woman that basically burned this dude, not in a sexually transmitted disease type of way, but she played him. So Knight of Wands could be a woman or a man that just don't got time for you. They want to hit it and quit it. Oh, Feel the Fire by, oh God, you are really hitting my emotions right there. Yes, feel the fire I gave you. Okay, don't even get me started. Something that you told me stayed in my head. All right, Get At Me Dog by DMX. What about that? Get At Me Dog. So that song gets you amped, it gets you hyped. So that should give you an idea about how the Knight of Wands is. That energy is amped, it's hyped. Throw Your Hands Up by Jay-Z. That's another song that'll get you hyped. Knight of Wands. Let It Ride by Bachman Turner Overdrive. That's a 70s song. That gets you hyped as well. It's a good song to drive to. Whoa by Black Rob. I met this girl uptown. She was whoa. Like if you hear the way that song starts, that shit is so Knight of Wands. Do y'all feel me? I met this girl uptown. She was whoa. Control like your doom 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 doom. Anytime, any place. I like that. That's very Knight of Wands, actually, Dr. Ken. But on a softer end. Wildfire by Michael Martin Murphey. Now this song is more subdued, but it's a song about this horse that runs away in the middle of a blizzard, and it makes me cry every time I hear it. But yes, so not all these songs on this list will get you amped. Wildfire is more so about a horse running wild though. She ran calling wildfire, calling wildfire. Calling wildfire. Oh man, that song makes me so sad. All right, Runaway Love by En Vogue. I had to put my girls in here. Shout out to Dawn Robinson. I'm rooting for you, girl. I hope you get out of your car and get a roof over your head. Stop tripping. So, all right. But yes, Runaway Love, En Vogue. I love that song. Runaway Love. How about Little Red Corvette by Prince? Little Red Corvette. Because like I said, this song, the Knight of Wands, it could be a woman, it could be a fast woman or a fast dude. Baby, you're just too fast. Little Red Corvette. You want a love that's gonna last. And then what about Hungry Like the Wolf? I'm on a hunt, I'm after you. And I'm hungry like the wolf. And then I Ran. That's the song I was singing when this first started. And I run so far away. Like this is like actually I'm torn between Knight of Wands and Knight of Swords, but both of those cards, that's like Grand Theft Auto. But it's Grand Theft Auto would be more Knight of Swords in a way because Knight of Swords can deal with where the cops are after you and stuff. But Knight of Wands can be very Grand Theft Auto too. And I remember I think it might have been Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, where that song was one of the songs in the commercial for Grand Theft Auto. And I ran so far away. Yes. All right. Next. Next we got the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands, he's a little guy, but he's fiery and he has a lot of gumption and he has balls. So he's down for whatever. Now, you got the Look by Prince. Cause this is can be a card of infatuation. Made You Look by Nas. That's another good one. Let me see what else you're saying. Can You Feel It? The Jacksons, love it. Godsmack, Keep Away. Kenny G, Songbird. I love Songbird. Blazing Black Dolphin said, I love old school and new school music. Well, some new music. I'm picky with all the new artists coming in. I am too. But every now and then, some of these new artists will surprise you. Like, who's that girl now? Y'all gonna have to forgive me. I'm menopausal and my memory is just bad right now. But it's that new girl that came out. I like Dochi. That's her name. I like a couple of her songs. I was like, because she's coming with like an old school vibe. Okay, who? Okay, that's all right. You got the Look by Prince. Because again, this can be a card of infatuation. I want to get to know you by Joe. I want to get to know you. Isn't that Joe? I think so. Curiosity by the Jets. Curiosity. I want to know. Is she just a plaything? The song Africa by Toto. I bless the rains down in Africa. And then we got Don't Want No Short, Short Man. Now, I don't know who sang that. Who sang that song? But when I was looking at the Page of Wands card, I went back to that song. It made me think of that. Don't want no short, short man. Eeny, weeny, teeny, weeny. You know that song? That's from back in the day. I think that was like early 90s. But you see how the page is looking at that wand. It's like he's sizing it up. That's like, you care about size. And the wand can be a penis. Don't want no short, short man. And then Hot in Here by Nelly. Hot in. So hot in here. Hit 'em up is a good Wands card. It really is, especially Knight of Wands. Gillette sang that song. And then Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana, because that song gets you amped. So the page can be a child. Pages can be children, they can be teenagers as well. That's why I'm having Smells Like Teen Spirit, because that song and that video, they tore shit up. I remember when I first saw that video, I think it was a late Friday night. And I think I was by myself. I might have been watching MTV, maybe Headbangers Ball or something like that. And I remember that shit came on and I was just fixated. This was my first time being introduced to Nirvana. I remember I was just staring, like just fixated at the TV because I never saw some shit like that before. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, this shit is so dope, but it was so strange at the same time because again, grunge was like new on the scene. Before that, the closest you could come to grunge would be like punk, but punk was like in a genre all itself. Grunge was on some different next level, and grunge became like kind of universal because there was, of course, white people love grunge, but there was quite a few black people that was into like Nirvana and Stone Temple Pilots and Pearl Jam and shit like that, the alternative blacks that is. And I was one of those. So I was into the grunge music. So like Nirvana, when Smells Like Teen Spirit came on the scene, and again, I got Jupiter and Aries, Chiron and Aries in the third house. I was like, hell yeah. And again, they was basically in a school in that video. I remember seeing the cheerleaders with that anarchy symbol and they had the black tank top. I was just like, all right. Well, the lifestyle, it sustains us. Here we are now, entertainer. Me and my sister used to blast that shit in her little Ford Escort. Now, new person, same old mistakes. Tame Impala. I love myself some Tame Impala. So, because Page of Wands can deal with where you're meeting a new person and you're open to meeting new people. But if you haven't worked on yourself, and a lot of times the Page of Wands, he's too young and immature to work on himself. So, a lot of times you're going to be meeting new people, but still making the same old mistakes. Turn Me On. Now, this is an obscure song from the late 60s. I think it was the late 60s, maybe 69 or maybe early 70, like 70, by Rotary Connection. Fun fact about Rotary Connection, this was the band that Minnie Riperton was in before she went solo. So this song, Turn Me On, because Page of Wands can deal with where somebody's turning you on. You know, you're a little hot under the collar for this person, you know. You got a little itch that you want them to scratch and stuff like that. So turn me on. But turn me on can also mean, again, I'm intrigued, I'm curious. Want to see what this is about because it's turned me on. I want to know what it's all about. And the Page of Wands, he's very inquisitive as well. And he likes new things. All right, next we have the Ace of Wands. So the Ace of Wands, this is like potential energy. Want to be starting something. Got to be starting something. Said you want to be starting something. Got to be starting something. Too high to get over. Too low to get under. You're stuck in the middle. Yes, want to be starting something. That's very Ace of Wands. Hey Jupiter, how you doing? I didn't forget about you. Your video's coming up next in the next couple of days, that is, or maybe few days. Let me back that up. I'll say few days. Hopefully, I'll be able to go live with your video on either Friday or Saturday. But thank you for your patience. But you say you are an amazing teacher. Thank you. I love how you use music to teach us about tarot. I'm all about, making things simple. Because I'm like, if you could simplify things and make things relative to other things, I feel like it makes things easier to not just learn, but to absorb and to retain. Because next time you hear Want to Be Starting Something by Michael Jackson, you might think of the Ace of Wands. Mama say, Mama sa, makusa. Mama say, Mama sa, makusa. If you start me up, I'll never stop. By the Rolling Stone, you make a grown man cry. That's my shit. Oh, I love that song. Don't make a grown man cry. All right. Let's Get It Started by MC Hammer. You know, MC Hammer is an Aries. All right. Getting ready, cause here I come. Or get ready, cause here I come by the Temptations. If you wanna play hide and seek, the way I find you, you're out of sight. So tiddly dee, twiddly dum. Look out, baby, cause here I come. All right. I had to throw Too Close in there. Cause by next, baby, now we're grinding. Wait, I gotta pull up the lyrics to this song because it was my mother. I think I told y'all about this. Too Close lyrics. Sometimes I could be a little slow. And it was my mom that told me that he was talking about his hard on. And that Ace of Wands can deal with a man that has a hard on for you. She said, baby, he said, I wonder if she could tell I'm hard right now. Oh, yeah, he's talking in the beginning of the song. He said, I wonder if she could tell I'm hard right now. Yeah, come on, dance for me, baby. Ha ha, yeah. You feel that. All right, come on, don't stop now. You done did it. Come on. Yeah, all right, hold on. Baby, now we're grinding. I'm so excited. Oh, how I like it. I try, but I can't fight it. Oh, you're dancing real close. Plus, it's real, real slow. You're making it hard for me. I did not know he was talking about his hard penis until my mother put me onto that. And of course, her being an Aquarius, she was all on that. So she was like, I like that song by Next. She was like, you know what they talking about. I was like, what are they talking? She was like, you know. And I was like, she was like, they're talking about hard penis. I was like, oh my God, mom, stop. Yes. You're making it hard for me. So the next time you hear that song, think about the Ace of Wands. Baby, now we're grinding. I'm so excited. Yes. The boy is mine. That's a good one. They fighting over that wand right there. Beat It by Michael Jackson. You know, beat it, it has two meanings. Beat it meaning get the fuck out of here, but beat it meaning jacking your meat. I think Michael was talking about both. So let's say you're doing a reading about this guy you just met, right? And you want to know what is his main issue sexually, right? And you get the Ace of Wands. On one hand, it could be he's always getting hard around any woman. That's a problem. I knew of a guy like that. On the other hand, it could be he's always hard because he's always beating his meat. So maybe he's too focused on his dick. Maybe he thinks with his dick. So sometimes you have to be really literal with these cards and look at the card for what it is. Like that is a penis. It may not look like the penis that you're accustomed to, but that is like a archetypal type of penis. Now, If by Janet Jackson. If I was your girl, all the things I do to you, I make you call out my name. I ask who it belongs to. If I was your girlfriend, the things I do to you, but I'm not. You see how she's saying if? Because the Ace of Wands doesn't mean it's not a guarantee just yet. That's why she's saying if. And she's getting him hard by telling him the things she would do. But then she's teasing him at the same time. This is so Ace of Wands. She's teasing him at the same time because she's saying, but I'm not, so I won't. And I can't. But if I was your girl, I would. That's Ace of Wands all day. Put in the idea in his head. And then we got Soon the New Day Breaks the Dawn. If you don't know that song, check it out. I love that song. Smack That. That's a good one by Akon. Let me see what else. It said Mike was said to be the original Mr. Still Your Girl. All right, let me see. Indigo said, get ready by the tense is my ish. Yes, get ready, because here I come. I'm on my way. Yes. All right, Spontaneity by Bahamadia. I'm putting y'all on to some songs that are kind of, obscure and rare. So check out some of these songs if you haven't heard them, especially during Aries season, because these songs are very much dealing with Wands energy, Aries energy. Soon the New Day by Talib Kweli, Spontaneity by Bahamadia. Yes. And as you can see, I have diverse tastes in music. That's my Venus in the ninth house. Trine Mars and Gemini. Now, Two of Wands. So Two of Wands, now we're getting into like pure Aries energy. So these Wands cards are pertaining to Aries specifically of the fire signs. When it comes to the tarot deck, they have the different suits, and the way they are numbered or ordered is the cardinal signs are first, the fixed signs are in the middle, and then the mutable signs come last. So the first three cards of these wands from 2 to 4 are Aries cards, because Aries is that cardinal fire sign. So the Two of Wands, before I get into any songs, this is like to just give you an idea. This is like the on your mark part of a race. So, remember when you were outside playing as a kid? I guess if you were born in the 90s, 80s, and, going back, those 2000 kids, they've been in the house playing video games. So y'all know about racing each other. But remember back in the day when you were a kid and you were playing racing with the kids outside, and they'd be like, on your mark, get set, go. So when you say on your mark, this is very much Two of Wands. But this can also be get set as well. But it's more so on your mark. Now, Hurry Up This Way Again by the Stylistics. That's an old school song. If you don't know about that, check that song out. I love that song. And then we got Light My Fire by The Doors. Come on, baby, light my fire. Trying to turn the night on fire. Trying to You Make Me Wanna. Usher. You know why I included this song? Because this card can be a sign that somebody is thinking about cheating on you. So let's say you're married, right? And you feel like you're just getting this inkling that your husband feels like he wants to step out. You know, he's getting phone calls and he's walking out the room, taking the call, and you're like, who the hell is he talking to? You know, he's taking a little bit longer to get home from work and stuff like that. So let's say you want to see what your husband's up to. So if you want to see, you know, is he thinking about cheating on me? If you get this Two of Wands card, that's a yes. That means he's thinking about you make me want to leave the one I'm with and start a new relationship. Jude, this is what you do. Yes. So you got to be careful. If you see that Two of Wands, that means because you got to look at that globe in his hand. I mean, he already got the world, but that ain't enough. He want more. So he already got you at home, but he looking for something else. He want a little strange. You were like my best friend. The song Call Me by Sky. Call me if you need someone to talk to. Call me. Satisfaction guarantee. Because this can represent somebody that's just waiting in the wings for you to call them. Oh, you and your girl going through problems, call me. I'll help you work it out. And then searching to find the one. That's an obscure song. Is that from the 80s or the 70s? I gotta look that up real quick. But that song is by Unlimited Touch. Oh my God, I love that song. They be like, search. The beat is so good. Searching to find the one. Hold on. I gotta see what year that came out. Because that Two of Wands, that's like somebody searching to find a one, searching to find something to get into. 1981. But we can also add Searching by Roy Ayers, and he recently passed. Rest in peace, Roy Ayers. But searching to find one. All right, now this is the go. You could say this is like a in between set and go. Ready, set, go. Now, Three of Wands. Three of Wands, ready or not, here I come. You can't hide. Gonna find you. Because this is where you've already set your sights on someone and you're ready to go. You're ready to go to them or you're waiting for them to come to you. So, Ready or Not by the Delphines. Now, we know the Fugees also put out a remake of Ready or Not, but I really didn't care for that. They played that song to death and I got tired of it. But the original Ready or Not is by the Delphonics, 60s. That is the jam right there. Hold On, I'm Coming by Sam and Dave. That's another song that's from the 70s, I believe, either 60s or 70s. Let me make sure. Hold on. Hold on. And Isaac Hayes co-wrote that song. I'm coming. Hold on. That song gets me amped when I'm ready to go live. Reach out to me. He's saying, reach out to me for satisfaction. Call my name for quick reaction. That came out in 1966. Wow. That's a funky song. So if you don't know about that song, check it out. It's very Three of Wands. Send for Me by Atlantic Star. That's very Three of Wands. Put a message in a bottle. Send for Me. Yes. Don't Look Any Further by Dennis Edwards and Saida Garrett. Deo, Madeo, Mampachi. Don't look any further, further. Tonight, tonight, we're gonna taste a little paradise, baby, all night. Now, there's a song called Help Me by Shalimar, early 80s. I love this song. But the Three of Wands can deal with where you need assistance or somebody is calling on you to provide them with assistance. And then what about Always on Time by Ja Rule featuring Ashanti? I might always there when you call, but I'm always on time. And I gave you my all. Now, baby, be mine. All right. Sending My Love by Janae. Remember that? Sending my love to you. If I could mail my heart right to you, I would. That was my jam. So sending my love, because again, this is about sending and receiving this Three of Wands card. It's a very action-oriented card. And unfortunately, I had to add this one, y'all. And I love this song before I knew R. Kelly was a perv, before I knew he was a low down dirty bastard. But your body's calling. What's your desire? Baby, your wish is my will. Oh, yes, it is. Baby, let me take you higher. Now, that song came out when I was coming of age. I was a young woman. I was like maybe 14, 15 when that song came out. I remember me and my sister, like, we loved that first R. Kelly album, 12 Play. Oh my God, we played the shit out of that album. But this song in particular, that and the Bump and Grind remix, but this song in particular, me and my sister, we even went to the R. Kelly concert back in the day. But this song in particular, I hate to say it, but it awakened something in me. Your body's calling for you. Yes, I love that song. Every morning, noon, and night, all day. I have to admit, he put his thing down on that song. Man. All right. And last but not least, we got the Four of Wands. So the Four of Wands, this is a card where basically you've made it, you've arrived, you've achieved something, and it can basically deal with the foundation for marriage. So I have Let's Get Married by Jagged Edge. Meet me at the altar in your white dress. Yes. All right, Family Affair. The one by Sly and the Family Stone, but also the one by Mary J. Blige. We had to add Mary to the mix. So it's a family affair. It's a family affair. Because this can deal with getting together with family for an event, reunion, family reunion by the OJs. We Will Rock You by Queen, because this can deal with, it does kind of look like they're in a stadium, right? And We Will Rock You is like a stadium song. And then how about Celebration by Kool and the Gang? Because this can represent a graduation as well. So, if it's a graduation party, you might play that song, Celebration. At a wedding, you might play Celebration. For somebody's 50th birthday party, you might play Celebration. Uptown Funk by Mark Ronson and Bruno Mars. Now, the reason why I included Uptown Funk is because ever since I've been going on cruises, I noticed that's a song they love to play during like the sail away parties and stuff like that to get people amped up. And I started to take a liking to the song. So every time I hear, I be like, hey, it's an Uptown Funk going, give it to you. The Uptown Funk going, give it to you. So that reminds me of the Four of Wands all day. And then We Made It is a good song by Ghostface Killer. And I believe that's on his is it on his Bulletproof Wallets one? Or Supreme, I think it's on Supreme Clientele. But that's a song basically about achievement. And then Make It Happen by Mariah Carey. I love that song by her. And Mariah is an Aries, so I had to include Mariah. Now, what is up with Mariah lately? I'm about to get into the readings, y'all, but what is up with Mariah? Every time I see a clip of her on Instagram and she's at her concerts, she's always moving so slowly. She looks stiff. She looks like she just wants to go to bed. She looks like she's hopped up on pills. I'm really starting to be concerned for her. But at the same time, I get it too. She's an Aries. And I can see how hard it is for an Aries to have to perform the same songs night after night because Aries likes things to be new, fresh and new. So hey, Derek, if she has to, yeah, she did lose her mother and sister. So that could be a big part of why, she's just not into it. But I know, Aries also, they don't like doing the same thing over and over again. They get tired of stuff that gets old and stale. So her having to perform the same songs over again, yeah, I could see how she's over it. But when you sell your soul, you can't ever retire. Sorry, Mariah. All right, so that concludes my little slideshow just to introduce y'all to the Aries related cards of the tarot deck. So now I'm going to get started with the self-exploration readings. We're going to start with Aurora. So Aurora, are you here? If not, you could catch the replay. So Aurora, I'm going to pull 3 cards for you. The first card is going to represent who you are. The second card is going to represent where you are right now, like in terms of like what's going on with you, like the main theme in your life right now. And then the third card will be where you are headed. I love The Roof by Mariah. Oh, I love The Roof. The rooftop. Every time. All right. On the rooftop that rainy night. All right. So again, this is for Aurora. Thank you for your Cash App. So the first card, who is Aurora? Oh my God, I love this card because I identify with this card a lot. You got the Nine of Pentacles. That is a very good card to represent you, especially because you're a woman. Because the Nine of Pentacles is basically representing a woman who's independent. She's on top of her game. She got plenty of money. She's attractive. She got men that, want to be with her, but she's not pressed to be with them. She's going to basically have a man show and prove before she even opens up her heart. But she's the type that is creating something of value, something of lasting value. The Nine of Pentacles is representing a woman who is good at in terms of like gardening, who could be making some type of craft, who could be constructing something that could make her some money. So again, like I said, I really identify with the Nine of Pentacles. I love that card. It's boss energy card in terms of women, but where you're not a bitch, where you're very nice, you're very pleasant to be around. You're somebody that people feel secure to be around. And you are a lover of beauty and nature as well. So that's a really good card to have. You might be, starting a business, or you might be running a business already if you have the Nine of Pentacles. If not, you might be an independent contractor, because that could be another one. So what's going on right now? Like where you're at right now? I got the Five of Swords. I'm going to write all these down for each one, just in case y'all forget and you come to me and be like, what card was that? So number one is Nine of Pentacles. Number two is Five of Swords. Now, Five of Swords, when you first look at that card, you automatically think negativity, right? But Five of Swords isn't always negative. But let me get into the negative first. With that Five of Swords, it could represent a loss. It could represent where you feel cheated. You might feel like somebody's been lying to you, or somebody's been playing you. You might feel like you have to cut your losses and admit defeat. You might be dealing with somebody who is acting very selfish. But on the other hand, and this is where Aries does come in, the Five of Swords can sometimes require you, or it can mean that you need to be selfish. It can also mean that you need to cut some people out of your life, people that aren't serving you well, people that might be toxic. Betrayal is a key word that can come with that Five of Swords. Theft is another one. So keep close watch over your possessions and your belongings during this time. But I feel like intuitively, I'm picking up where the Five of Swords on your in Aurora is more of an action oriented card. And it's more of a card where you're taking steps to cut certain things out of your life. Things that, again, aren't really serving you, things that aren't helping you to grow. And then where you're headed. Three of Wands. Okay, I got the Three of Wands card. So the Three of Wands can represent that you could be traveling in the future, but also it can represent some type of transactional situation. In some cases, if we're talking about a relationship, it could be a transactional relationship. But that Three of Wands can also mean that you are open to new possibilities. You are open to new pathways. You are going to be more enterprising. You might, again, if we're talking about business, if we relate to this to the Nine of Pentacles, that Three of Wands can mean that you're ready for a grand opening. You're ready to really go forward with this and start making some money doing something that you have a skill or talent in. This is a really positive reading. The Five of Swords, that's the most negative card out of the three. But like I said, intuitively, I'm feeling that this is more about action steps that you're taking as opposed to you being a victim with that Five of Swords. But still, you want to be vigilant whenever you see that Five of Swords come up. So you got the Three of Wands, that's card number 3. So I hope that gives you some insight into your self-exploration. All right. Brianna, you're next. Thank you for your Cash App. So Brianna, we're going to do the same thing with you. We're going to pull 3 cards. The first card is going to represent who you are. The second card is going to represent where you're at right now. And the third card is going to represent where you're headed. All right. First card. Oh, this is the card I got for the Patreon card of the week this week. Interesting. I got the Three of Swords. Hey, Roma. All right. So let me write you down, Roma. Thank you so much for your your super chat. All right. So, Brianna, I got the Three of Swords. Now, the Three of Swords can mean that you identify with heartbreak or loss or some kind of separation, some type of anguish. But the Three of Swords can also represent someone who is open to alternatives, someone who can be very much about diversity, someone who can even think outside the box. But I am getting more so someone who's been hurt before. And you may feel like there's really nobody out there that is really going to be gentle with your heart. You might have experienced some heartbreak in the past, some loss. You might even be going through a current loss right now. And it may not even be dealing with a lover, but it could be dealing with someone else. But again, this is representing who you are. And ultimately, the Three of Swords is a Libra card. And the Libra card Libra in relation to the Three of Swords can mean that, yeah, instead of putting your heart on the line, be more about your head. Be more about head than heart. Because if you do put your heart out there, a lot of times it is going to get stepped on, it is going to get broken. So always remember that with that Three of Swords card, it's swords at the end of the day, which means that there's no need to be, getting all emotionally attached to people, places, and things, especially if they're not going to stay and it's going to cause some pain in the process. Oh my God, Brianna, I had a feel when I was shuffling the cards, I had a vision of the Nine of Swords. So that's card number 2. I knew the Nine of Swords was going to come up for you. So far we got 3 swords. You might have some strong air energy in your chart, which is why I'm getting these swords like this. So you got the Nine of Swords for where you're at right now. And the Nine of Swords can be a card of anguish, mental anguish in particular. It's getting hot in here. Mental anguish in particular. But the Nine of Swords can also deal with where you are overthinking situations, overanalyzing situations. You might be involved in this back and forth with somebody through text, conversing with them back and forth, them trying to, explain themselves. A lot of times with the Nine of Swords, it can represent too where you got a lot of explaining to do. It can also just represent where you got a lot of things to do on your to-do list. You could be dealing with racing thoughts. The Nine of Swords is a Mars and Gemini card, so the racing thoughts is very apropos. You could be dealing with some nightmarish situation, or you could just be experiencing nightmares. Let me know if you had a nightmare recently. And the Nine of Swords can also deal with actual physical pain too. So if you are experiencing some physical pain, oh yes, Red Bunny, I'm going to be doing the members, the diggable planets, and the mods. I guess I'll do it in between. So I'll stop at Clorinda and I'll do some of the diggable planets and moderators. So I don't have y'all waiting too long. And then we'll pick back up with the list. So I'm gonna have to intersperse y'all. But thanks for looking out for y'all, Red Bunny. Let me just add you to the list right now. All right. But yeah, so sometimes the Nine of Swords can represent pain. So if you are experiencing some pain right now, and in particular, sometimes the Nine of Swords can represent menstrual pain even. So I hope the pain does subside in the near future. Just know that Nine of Swords typically can represent where you're just not in a very good place right now. So I hope that you are able to find some solace. I hope that you're able to find some peace. Now, the future, oh God. Well, okay, let me stop. I don't want to make things seem bad. Let me, Lord, okay. Another swords card. But this is good because this is just representing the energy that you're dealing with right now, Brianna. So again, this is for you, Brianna. First card I got is the Three of Swords, which is representing who you are. The card dealing with where you're at is the Nine of Swords. And then the third card where you're headed is the Knight of Swords. So you got all swords up in here. And the Knight of Swords, I always say, he is the thuggish, ruggish card. And sometimes you do got to get a little thuggish, ruggish to handle business. The Knight of Swords can represent drastic change, but change that could be a bit uncomfortable. It could even represent quitting a job. I do say it can be get the fuck out of Dodge card. Like you're getting the hell up out of there because the situation is taxing you emotionally or mentally. So just know that where you're headed, rapid, drastic change is upon you. And where you might be hurting some feelings in the process too, because the Knight of Swords, he is not sensitive in no way, shape, or form. He does what needs to be done, even if some people get hurt in the process. Knight of Swords can also represent a legal situation. Let's hope that's not the case, but sometimes he is fighting for justice. All right, next. Let me write this down. So first we have the Three of Swords for Brianna, followed by the Nine of Swords, and then the Knight of Swords. So all swords, very interesting. And swords represent mental energy, communication, but swords can also represent adversity. All right, Renee, you're next. So Renee, we're going to do the same thing that I did with the other two. So Renee, we're going to look at who you are. And when I say who you are, I'm mainly talking about at this current point in time, because, you know, you can go through periods of evolution and rebirths and all that where you become somebody different than what you were before. So I'm really focused on who you are at this current point in time. So card number 1 is who you are. Card number 2 is where you are right now. And card number 3 is where you're headed. So card number 1, justice. Are you a Libra, Renee? Or you might have something in Libra, maybe a Libra moon, Libra rising. So the first card you got is justice. So, you know, justice deals with somebody who is fair, somebody who is objective, or at least they try to be, somebody who is level-headed, but also somebody that is very much about keeping their word and doing what they said they were going to do and following through. Oh, thank you, Jules. So, and you know, justice is about following through a lot of times. Like sometimes you have to do something in order to get something. It's all about you making it happen. It's all about what you put into it. Justice can also mean that you're very much about deliberating. Like you're not just going to make a impulsive decision. So I like justice to represent who you are. It's a really good card. You're basically even killed, but sometimes you could be sitting on the fence. Sometimes you might be a little indecisive. Sometimes you might be pissing people off because you don't want to take sides. So that's the underside of that Libra energy, that justice card. So You might be indecisive or sitting on the fence. You might have to weigh the pros and cons of situations, or you might try to carefully weigh the pros and cons of situations before taking action. But again, overall, that's a good card to represent who you are. And then, you might be drawn to the legal field too with that justice card. Now, where you're at right now, I got the world card, and the world card is a card of success. So you might have recently accomplished something, or you might have successfully completed a program or a project or something. You might have made it to the next level in terms of your career, what have you. The world card is a very good card to represent where you're at. The world card can also represent travel as well. So you might have just came from a trip, or you might be planning to go on a trip very soon. You might have already booked your plane tickets and stuff like that. World card, very positive. And sometimes it can mean that you're in a good place in life. Like you're secure, you got friends and family surrounding you, and yeah, you're in your element. But the world card can also mean you need to finish what you started. So it makes sense that you got the justice card. Hey, Jupiter going wild. Thanks for becoming a diggable planet. Um, so you'll be added to the list for readings. Did you? Okay, yeah, because you didn't. All right, so yeah, you're added to the list. So justice, followed by the world. And then what's really telling too is when people get major arcana cards. And then you got Six of Wands. Oh, you're doing big things, Renee. So getting the world card to represent where you are, followed by the Six of Wands, that's basically the Six of Wands. That's the winner. That's the champion. That's the top dog. That's the top pick. Basically, you're the shit. So it's basically telling me that you have some really prosperous times ahead. But the Six of Wands can also mean that you realize you're too good for something. Oh, I forgot to say this too. Let me go back with the world card, because the world card can sometimes mean to finish something that you started, which is kind of related to the justice card. Because remember, I said the justice card can deal with where you do need to follow through. So the world card can mean you need to finish what you started, and you might be doing that already. And that Six of Wands can represent you made it to the finish line, you're number one, you get the top prize. But it can also mean that you think you're too good for a situation, you're just going to pass on it too. But overall, it's a really positive reading that you got. Really positive. All right. And then we got Elamin next. All right, Elamin, we're going to do the 3 cards for you. Self-exploration. Who am I? Where am I? Where am I headed? Who is Elamin right now? Where is he at right now, or she? And then where are you headed? All right, so who you are. I got the Six of Wands. When that happens, I'll be like, did I shuffle enough? Oh God, but I'm just going to go with it. So I got the Six of Wands. And that Six of Wands, like I was just saying, the Six of Wands is the champion, the winner, the top contender, someone who is brave, someone who is leader, like the basically leadership, someone who is about maximizing their potential. But the Six of Wands, you could say you're at the center of attention. Like in terms of who you are, it can represent someone who does kind of like to be at the center of attention. Or even if you don't like to be at the center of attention, a lot of times all eyes are on you. And the Six of Wands can represent someone who is a good performer, someone who feels like they are meant to basically make their mark and be someone that is going to be celebrated in some way, shape, or form. And it can also represent that you're very confident in yourself. I like that. Now, where you're at right now is Page of Cups. And a lot of times, especially the deck I'm using right now, it's the Morgan Greer Tarot deck. When I see this Page of Cups, I think of longing, like you're longing for something. You could be longing for an escape. You could be longing for a lost love, or you could be longing to experience love. You could be kind of jaded, even, because sometimes the Page of Cups can deal with where you're a little jaded. Now, on another hand, it can mean that maybe you have a creative idea and you're toying around with it. Maybe you're thinking about starting a creative project. And also, it can mean that you might be in the beginning stages where you're communicating with somebody that you might be interested in. And you could be rather sensitive right now emotionally. So if somebody says something, a little offhanded remark, that could really put you in a negative space. So try to guard yourself emotionally right now. Now, the future, where you're headed, I got the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is very much about saying, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, this is what I'm willing to tolerate, this is what I'm not willing to tolerate. You really can't move me. Like the Queen of Swords, she's not moved emotionally. So if we're going from the Page of Cups to the Queen of Swords, that can mean that yes, you are going to basically kind of guard yourself emotionally and be rather indifferent, impervious. I love that word, impervious to whatever somebody might try to say to get you to react in a certain type of way. But the Queen of Swords is also somebody that is content with being on their own, content with being single, very goal oriented, and where you are basically displaying that personal magnetism. So, Queen of Swords is a really good card to see in terms of you where you're headed. Basically, where you're not going to be settling for anything that's beneath you, because the Queen of Swords, she's a bit kind of like, I'm not going to say uppity because she's not uppity. What's the right word to say? You could kind of say a little elitist, but not all the way either, because there's some Gemini interwoven in that Queen of Swords. But she's really not the type that's going to settle for less. I'll say that. She can be quite entitled, and that's where the Aquarius comes in. But yes. So getting more serious about how you want to see your life, how you want your life to be. That's very Queen of Swords. Thinking ahead, thinking for the future. All right, next we have Regine. So, Regine, I'm going to do the same spread for you, the 3 cards representing who you are right now, where you're at, and where you're headed. All right. Jupiter said, this Pluto and Aquarius energy is turning me into a lover girl. I just want to be your lover girl. I just want to rock your world. All right. So, okay, this is getting on my nerves. I'm like, and I shuffle really good, but sometimes this happens. I got the Page of Cups. But no, that makes me think of you, Regine. Page of Cups. Longing. Again, Page of Cups can represent longing, but this is representing who you are. So Page of Cups can represent that you're more on the retiring end right now, where you want to kind of just be. You might want to just be a little bit isolated from things. You might want to get away from it all. Just being very sensitive to like subtleties right now, but also being more sensitive to what other people are going through, trying to be more understanding. You might be really focused on like the psychology of certain people around you right now and like psychoanalyzing, certain people. And also thinking creativity. You might have some creative ideas that you want to explore right now. But the Page of Cups is someone who is very much about love, very much about, can even be about fantasy, fantasizing. And again, the fantasizing could just be a longing for escape. And the Page of Cups can also just be looking at the world from a lens of fascination. Like, this is fascinating. Think about the little fish that's in that chalice in the Page of Cups card that the person is kind of gazing on. And then where you're at right now, the Magician. I love that card. That is a card of self empowerment. That is a card where you are basically using your creative power to make things happen, where you're in control of things. You are in control of yourself emotionally, mentally. You're basically not allowing yourself to feel helpless. You're basically being resourceful because the Magician is very resourceful, and you're about solutions. The Magician is very solutions oriented. So right now you're not about dwelling on your problems and acting like you don't have the power to fix things. You're very much about, we're going to correct this. We're going to get down to the bottom of things, and we're going to change some things, and we're going to get these things under control. Willpower, that's a major theme of the Magician. So being strong-willed right now, and basically kind of taking charge. The Magician is very much about taking charge. And then where you're headed, I got the Strength card. And I like that card for you because that Strength card, that's about using your finesse to get what you want. They call it soft control instead of hard control. So where you are basically controlling the situation, but not in an aggressive way, not in a way where you're making people feel uncomfortable, where you're being kind of slick and you're keeping it classy. But the strength card can also represent fitness as well. A lot of times, if you're working out, exercising, getting in shape, and also health, fitness, major themes. So you could be more focused on your health and fitness in the future. And the strength card is just a card too, where it's again, you're very much exercising self control. You're exercising control over your lower self, which is representing that lion in the strength card is representing your lower self. Very, very positive. So let me write that down for you. Page of Cups was the first one. Second card was the Magician, and then Strength. All right. Also, the Strength card, when I see the Strength card too, I think of where you're trying to get somebody to open up and be more expressive of how they feel and stuff. And usually it means that you can. All right, Clorinda, you're next. And then I'm going to squeeze some of the diggable planets in here, as well as the moderators, after I do Clorinda, and then I'll finish down the line. All right, Clorinda, we're going to do your three, who you are, where you are right now, and where you're headed. Jupiter said, I'm a little nervous about my reading, but I'm ready to dive in with closed eyes. Say with closed eyes, hey, don't be nervous. Because the good thing is, this is about you. It's not about somebody that you're trying to be with or something. And also, this is a no judgment zone too. So whatever card that you get, I'm not judging. All right, Clorinda, you're up. So Clorinda, the card representing you right now, I got the Queen of Swords. And I like that. I like whenever I see the Queen of Swords because the Queen of Swords, she's very strong-minded. And she's the type that doesn't take any bullshit. So let's say maybe in the past you were putting up with some bullshit. Well, right now you're not. Right now you're done. You're done playing games with people or allowing people to play games with you. A lot of times when you see that Queen of Swords, and this is true with the Ace of Swords too, think about an ultimatum where at this point you're ready to give somebody an ultimatum. Either you do this or you can kick rocks. I could care less. You know, Queen of Swords is very take it or leave it, you know? And she's not going, crumble just because you don't want to be with her no more. She might even laugh in your face. Because the Queen of Swords, she can also be very humorous. She has that sense of humor. She's very much about being single, and she's okay with being single. She don't have this emotional dependency upon anybody. So I love the Queen of Swords for you for that. Asia, where you at? Oh no, I didn't. You're coming up soon, Asia. Thank you so much for your cash app or your super chat. Yeah, I think it was a super chat. Thank you. But you're coming up soon. Where you're at right now, Clorinda, I got the Nine of Cups. I love the Nine of Cups because the Nine of Cups can deal with where you're very content. You might have got something recently that made you really happy because the Nine of Cups is a wish fulfillment card. So something you had been wishing for might have come true. And if it hasn't come true yet, it might be coming true very soon in the very near future. The Nine of Cups can also say that you're good. You know, if somebody be like, oh, you want something? You might be like, I'm good because you've had enough. You've had your fill of something. So, Nine of Cups can mean that you're in a place of contentment. You're really not wanting for much. And that could even include relationship wise. Like you might be have gotten, your fill of somebody and you're good at the moment. Or maybe you're still with that person and you are getting your fill of them right now. Like it's good right now. Now, the Nine of Cups can also deal with excess as well. So if you're dealing with any type of excess, and it could even be health wise, like a buildup of fluid retention. Like when you see Nine of Cups health wise, that can be a sign of fluid retention, swelling, things like that. Hopefully, that's not the case for you. It can also mean that you drinking a bit heavy. Now, I'm not saying that's the case either. Remember, no judgments on. No, I'm not. I don't even think you drink, but I'm just saying that is one of the meanings. But for the most part, Nine of Cups can mean you're very content right now with the way things are. And you're not even going to really try to rock the boat because things are pretty lovely. So that's really good. And then I got the Lovers for the near future. Now, the Lovers can be deceiving just by the name of that card. A lot of times it doesn't deal with lovers, but sometimes it can. Now, it could deal with where you might be meeting up with your boo in the near future or whatever, but it can also mean that you have a choice to make in the future. And that choice could be a bit hard. So you might have to, think about the consequences of the choice that you have to make. The Lover's card can also mean that it's time for a new perspective. It can mean that you need a second opinion. So just know that choice is a major theme, but also, oh, let's see. Clorinda is responding. Let's see what Clorinda said. So she said, I'm single, content, at peace, and don't want another attachment. That there you go. That's what I was talking about. That's that Nine of Cups where you're like, I'm good. I'm content. And like I said with that Queen of Swords, that's like you single and happy. You said, as far as drinking, these Coca-Colas are getting the best of me. Okay, so that's the Nine of Cups all day. The Coca-Cola. I can relate because I love me some cherry Coke. I be switching it up. Sometimes I be having my Barks root beer. But as of late, I've been drinking cherry Coke. So I get what you're saying with the Coke. Coke is so addicting. People that don't drink Coke, you just don't understand. You don't get it. You just don't understand. But yeah, so do you get what I'm saying, Clorinda, where what you're headed for is where you might have to make a choice. And that might be maybe some lover from the past wants to try to reconnect with you, and that may be why you have to make that choice. All right. So now we're going to segue over into a few of the diggable planets that have questions or any of the moderators. So I know Red Bunny. Red Bunny, I think you want one. Oh, let me see. Let me know, Dr. Ken, if you want one. Kawaii, honey, I know you want one. Indigo, let me know if you want one. Who else we got? Tara, I think you're in here too. Let me know if you want one. Okay, Clorinda, you said you get it. Okay. All right, Red Bunny, you're up. You're welcome, Element. All right. So, Red Bunny, first card is going to be who you are, superstar. And then second card is going to be where you're at right now. And third card is going to be where you're headed. Jupiter going wild said, I've been drinking water lately. I've been trying to drink more water too. I really got to drink more of it. Okay. Red Bunny. First card, I got the Six of Cups. Ooh, the Six of Cups. That's a deep card, and it is a Scorpio card. So representing you as the Six of Cups, you know that Six of Cups is a card of reminiscing about yesteryear, reminiscing about the good old days. But the Six of Cups is also representing how you could be a shoulder to cry on. You know, somebody might need a shoulder to cry on, and you might be providing that. Or somebody might need to have a heart to heart, and you're the person that, can really talk some sense into them. Or you're the person. You said six is my lucky, and I'm a Scorpio. There you go, Six of Cups, baby. So yes, right on point. And this is so Scorpio, like Six of Cups. Because remember, I said somebody might need to, shoulder to cry on. Somebody might need a heart to heart. Because people love to go to Scorpio and just unleash all their problems, tell them their deepest, darkest secrets. Basically, you are like a therapist, whether you want to be or not, because people will come to you and they will just open up and tell you what's going on with them and how they doing, or they suffering for this and all this type of stuff. So that's who you are right now. Like, people depend on you to give them guidance, to maybe help them to come to terms with a situation, give them solace. Like that Six of Cups card is it's a card of support, and Scorpio is very much about support. Scorpio is very supportive. Hey, Smile Love. Thank you so much for your super chat. I'm going to add you to the list. So, Six of Cups, that's a really good card to get. All right. Let me just write you down. Now, where you're at right now, I got the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is good. That's like stability, security. Did you recently purchase a home or property, or even if it's rental property, it could deal with where, you're in a better place housing wise. If not, that Four of Pentacles can mean that you've built up a nice amount in savings. So you're set, you're secure. You might have gotten a salary increase maybe recently or whatever. And the Four of Pentacles can also deal with where, though, you might be holding on to something that's no longer serving you. So ask yourself, so you said, I want to be a therapist for a job for real. There you go. You need to answer that calling. You got the Six of Cups. Okay, so you bought a house in 2022. Did you do anything recently involving that house? Like, did you make any upgrades? Did you get any new appliances or anything like that? Let me know with that Four of Pentacles. But for the most part, it does mean you're in a very secure position and that you really don't want for anything. But again, it could mean that you're holding on to something that is not really serving you. Sometimes it means that too, where you don't want to let go of something. And if you let go of it, maybe something better will come in its place. Now, where you're headed is the Eight of Swords. You said, no, you haven't made any improvement, but you said, but I need to. Okay, you might see some type of discount on something or whatever that helps you to get the ball rolling for that improvement that you need to make. So I got the Eight of Swords as where you're headed. And the Eight of Swords is a card where you could be kind of lost. You might need some direction. You might need some guidance. Sometimes it means you actually need some help. Like maybe I don't want to put it out there, but I'm just going to put it out there. Hopefully this ain't the case, but your card could break down and you might need to call AAA or call, the roadside assistance or something like that. Like roadside assistance, that's like a good way to explain that Eight of Swords card. But sometimes it could just mean that you can't see the forest for the trees and you're just thinking about things when you could just be taking action instead. Because sometimes you could be your own worst enemy with the Eight of Swords, where you're coming up with all these excuses why you can't do something when you have the power to do it. And sometimes it just takes one person to get you to say, oh, okay, yeah, I can do this. It's not that bad like I thought it was going to be. But yeah. A lot of times you might get some type of assistance. Somebody might come to your rescue, come to your aid with that Eight of Swords. All right. Who else? Let me see. Jupiter gone wild. We're gonna do you next. Thank you, Jupiter. And Jules, do you want a 3 card reading? Let me know. So Jupiter, first card is going to be who you are. Second card is going to be where you're at right now, and third card is going to be where you're headed. Interesting. First card I got is the Two of Swords. So that's representing who you are right now. And the Two of Swords is someone who can be a little standoffish, very protective of their space. So if you're being very protective of your space, you're being kind of guarded. You're not really, being very sociable even. That is basically representing who you are right now. The Two of Swords is also somebody that can be rather indecisive, not really sure of what they want to do or where they want to go as far as maybe career, as far as their purpose. But the Two of Swords can also mean that you are okay just the way you are just right now. A lot of times with the Two of Swords, it can mean things are right, just like how you want it to be. And if you move something even a millimeter, it's going to mess everything up. Like it's a card of stasis where things could be almost perfect or balanced. And if you mess things up, if you add something or take something away, it's just going to fall apart or you're going to fall over. A lot of times, the Two of Swords can also represent a tense period of waiting. So you might be waiting for something. Okay, Jules, let me add you. All right. And I feel from what I know about your situation, Jupiter, I can understand why you got this Two of Swords, considering, some of what you've gone through in your past and stuff can make you very Two of Swords. And Two of Swords can also feel kind of a little bit on edge, not where you're just, being antsy, but where you're just like, okay, one little move and you could be disturbed. So you're kind of in a delicate position. Some people will say that Two of Swords can represent a precarious position, but I don't see that in your case. I don't see you being in any danger or anything. But again, you're kind of in a rather fragile. No, I don't even want to say fragile. I'll say delicate again. Kind of like a delicate flower right now. There's some flowers out there that are delicate where if you touch a petal, it's going to fall off. Hey, Daniel, if you touch one of the petals, it's going to fall off. I see you kind of like that right now, where you could be triggered. That's a good word. Somebody might say something that triggers you, and you might have thought you resolved whatever issue is being triggered, but then somebody comes along and says something, some snide remark, and you realize you're back to square one in terms of having to deal with these internal conflicts that you've been dealing with. But yeah. And then where you're at right now, I got the Hierophant. And the Hierophant can represent school. It can represent some type of training. It can represent also where you are trying to basically come to terms with something that is in conflict. And usually it's something internal. So there you might be dealing with some type of internal conflict that you have to reconcile within yourself. And also you could be exercising caution. I always say the Hierophant is the cause to pause card. And sometimes when that card comes up, you might be presented with an opportunity, but it means, hey, don't go for it just yet. Wait, check it out, really do your research, and make sure you know what you're getting into. But the Hierophant can deal with learning, can deal with where you are getting some type of education. You might be thinking about enrolling in a certain program, and also spiritual. So the Hierophant can also represent some type of spiritual ceremony. even if you watch it on YouTube or something, it can represent something like that. Now, you got the Queen of Pentacles for where you're headed. I love it. I love the Queen of Pentacles because it makes me think of money, but it also makes me think of security and stability. It makes me think that if you don't like the job you're at now, you're going to get a better job in the near future where you're going to be making more money. And I'm looking at you buying some new clothes too. Like you sprucing up your wardrobe through this Queen of Pentacles. So if you haven't treated yourself lately, definitely want to go do that. Buy yourself a new outfit, buy yourself some accessories and stuff, get your hair done. The Queen of Pentacles, she's all about luxury. She's all about, the finer things in life, like in terms of what money can buy. So treat yourself, spoil yourself a little bit, spruce up your look. All right. And that Queen of Pentacles can also represent a woman, Jupiter, a woman that might be interested in you. All right. Let's see who we had. Jules, we'll do Jules, and then we'll go back to the list of people that have donated, starting with Ethereal Witch. All right, Jules, we're going to do who you are, where you're at, and where you're headed. All right, who you are. I got the Seven of Cups. And this is interesting because the Seven of Cups, it is a card where you could be dealing with some illusory situation. But again, this is dealing with who you are. So if we're talking about the Seven of Cups, this could be somebody that has different passions or different interests, and you're trying to squeeze them all into the 24-hour period that you're dealing with. But it can also mean that you're very much about being investigative. You might like to do a lot of, you might just be a researcher, an investigative reporter type of person where you're looking in, especially like into conspiracies and stuff, because we're dealing with a Scorpio. This is Scorpio energy right here. So when I see that Seven of Cups, it's like looking at things that are beneath the surface or that are not readily apparent on the surface, digging deep, going down a rabbit hole, and really like even getting lost in your research sometimes, where sometimes you might find, oh my God, 3 hours have gone by while I was like getting into this subject and stuff like that. And the Seven of Cups is like you never really know how to read this person. You really never know what you're going to get with a Seven of Cups person. They're coming with the element of surprise. They're coming with, they don't put all their cards on the table, and that's very Scorpio energy too. So you said you're a seven in numerology, so it makes a lot of sense. So you might also be fantasizing about something or someone with that Seven of Cups as well. You said you prefer the Chariot. Let's see if the Chariot comes up. So where you're at right now, I got the Two of Wands, which is an Aries card. And the Two of Wands can make you a little restless. You might be ready for action. Maybe you're ready to take a trip somewhere. Maybe you are thinking about, like, you might have been like, okay, I've been here, I've been there. Where can I go now? You might be saying, is this all there is to life? Because sometimes the Two of Wands can have that type of perspective, like, okay, been there, done that. What's next? So, yeah, let me know if that resonates. Two of Wands can basically also represent where you are itching for a scratch. So, if you haven't gotten your scratch itched, it could be really starting to really make some noise right now. But just know that that Two of Wands could just mean also that you're just open for new experiences. You are brave. You are like a trailblazer, and you're ready to basically take the bull by the horns in terms of whatever you're trying to accomplish. And then in the future, I got the Page of Cups. And that could represent some type of creative project that you're going to be looking at, some type of story that you could be learning about. That can also be research as well. You might get some intuitive messages might be coming to you strong. You said you haven't fucked in a year. Yeah, you need that itch scratch. Are you feeling it right now? Because that Two of Wands can mean like, okay. And let me know, are you kind of, oh, but you having phone set. Okay. Are y'all ever going to seal the deal? That's what I want to know. That Page of Cups can have you feeling a little jaded in the near future, or even in a little bit in the distant future. Maybe a couple of months from now, you might be feeling a little jaded about certain things, and it might be the dude that you're having phone sex with. You might be like, you know what, this phone sex is nice, but damn, I need some real action. You say he's a big business busy guy. Oh wow, interesting. But let me ask you this: with that two of wands I got representing where you are at right now, are you feeling like, okay, now what? Do you kind of have that, like, okay, now what? What's next? And is it dealing with him per se? Like, okay, we've done this so far. Are we going to take this to the next level? Where are we at? Should I start talking to someone else? Wow, y'all been in touch for nearly 20 years. Wow, that's a long time. But yeah, you might also be toying around with some ideas that are on a spiritual level. It might be you get some spiritual insight, some psychic impressions. Oh, you keep trying to end it. So it makes sense that that Page of Cups can be that you're feeling jaded. And then also the Two of Wands where you're like, okay, now what? All right, I'll come back to the Diggable Planets and the moderators after I go through some more of the people that donated. So, Ethereal Witch, you're next. So, we're going to do the 3 cards for you, Ethereal. Thank you for your donation. Okay, Red November, I'm putting you down. So, I did Bunny, I did Jules, I did Jupiter. All right, Ethereal Witch, and then I have Asia next. You're welcome. All right, Ethereal. Let's see who you are, where you are at, and where you're headed. I keep seeing the devil. Hopefully, nobody gets the devil card, but sometimes you need a little devil in your life. All right. So, who you are? I got the Magician. Very good card. The Magician is someone who basically has a take charge approach to life. They don't basically live life sitting down. The Magician is very much about using what they got to get what they want. The Magician is about making things happen. And the Magician is about using their creative energy to basically create whatever they want to create. You might be doing something that involves some skill that you have. Like when you see the Magician, think of a skilled professional. So you might have gotten a degree in something. You might be already working in this profession where you have a high level of skill, and it might be technical skill in particular. But the Magician can be skilled in a number of different ways. And it can also just show that you're being very resourceful right now, and that can even deal with making your money work for you instead of you working for your money. Oh shoot, my daughter just texted me saying we got you tacos. Oh my God. I might have to take a taco break. No, I'm not gonna eat while I'm online. All right. And then where you're at right now, I got the Ace of Wands. So the Ace of Wands can deal with new beginnings, new ideas, could even represent someone that you're considering giving some attention to. But the Ace of Wands can also deal with where it could be the beginning of a period of high energy, a lot of activity, excitement. So do you have anything that you're excited about? Oh, Cameron, thank you so much. I didn't even see it. I need to check my email. That's the problem. Let me check my email real quick. Thank you so much. Oh, shoot. There's a few people that sent me a cash app. Thank you so much. So thank you, Shammy B. I know who that is. Thank you, Tracy, and thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Cameron. So let me write y'all down. So Cameron, Shammy, Tracy, and Patricia. But I got Patricia. All right. So Ace of Wands. So that's like a new development in your life. Ace of Wands could represent an exciting time in your life. It could be a new job. It could be, but again, Ace of Wands doesn't mean that it's there just yet. So it's not manifested just yet, but it could be in the works. But just expect a new horizon. Expect new interests. And again, it could be something involving an opportunity that you really want to take advantage of. It could just mean that you're just open for some new experiences, but it can mean that maybe you have your eye on someone and you're considering, oh, it might really be someone. Hold on. Because I see a man in your future, and he's a good looking man too. He's a virile man. He's a king of wands. I'm seeing the king of wands in your future, ethereal witch. Matter of fact, you might have been doing some magic to bring this man into your life with that ace of wands and then followed by the king of wands. Have you done a spell recently, like to attract a man or something? Or maybe some man just has his eye on you and you don't even realize it right now. Did you change your hair? Did you change up something recently that would cause somebody to take a new interest in you? Are you currently involved with a man? If not, there might be a new man in your future. Oh, look at Shine Star. Okay, I see that. I see that eggplant. Yes, the Ace of Wands could be an eggplant. Now, I'm not saying that's definitely the case, but that King of Wands, a lot of times, so you change your hair. So there might be some man that you already know that's really starting to pay attention to you, because sometimes that's all it takes for you to change your hairstyle for a man to look at you like you're a totally different woman. So yes, if you're open to love, love might be, I don't want to say love, but you know what I mean. It could be romance, but yeah, King of Wands. A lot of times when you see the kings in relation to situations like this, it does actually mean an actual person. So don't be surprised. And this might even happen this week or next week. You could be at the gas station or you could be at work or somewhere, and some guy is shooting his shot and you think he's attractive. And next thing you know, that Ace of Wands is really coming to life. Oh, wow. Hey, Red November. Now, Red November, do I have you down? Let me put you down. I want to be down with what you're going through. All right, next we have Asia. Asia, we're going to do your three, who you are, where you're at right now, and then where you're headed. You're welcome, Red November. Oh, Dr. Ken, let me write you down. I'm sorry if y'all hear my ceiling fan. It's making this noise, but it's so hot. It's already hot here. It already feels like summer. I had to turn the air on today, and I really didn't want to because running the air is so expensive. All right, Asia, it's all about you. All right. And also, once I put down a card of who you are, it will help if you tell me your sun sign, if you could tell me your sun, moon, and rising, because the card that I put down representing who you are, it might be related to your three, or it might be related to your numerology, like some people were already pointing out. So, Asia, the card representing you, see, okay, we're going to have to do this over again. I don't like that. I got the King of Wands. And that was the last card I pulled. So let me just make sure I'm shuffling good. I don't want to give you a bad shuffle. Okay. I love mushroom heads. Is that what I think it is, Dr. Ken? Dr. Ken, you a freak. Mushroom. Oh my God. Okay, Asia. Oh my God, Asia. I got the King of Wands again. So you must be the King of Wands. But it fits for some reason. I am getting that vibe from you. Like you are like, you got some masculine energy in you. You're the type that you're not really going to be submissive when it comes to like a man. Like if a man wants you to be the submissive housewife, more than likely that ain't happening. You're very enterprising. You're very much about, going after what you want. You might even be the type. So, oh, that's your Leo moon, Sagittarius rising. That's why I got the King of Wands twice for you. Yup. And I was like, I'm picking up on that King of Wands energy. So it makes so much sense. Are you a traveler being a Sagittarius rising? Because the King of Wands, he doesn't like to sit still for that long. He does like to travel and see the world. He likes to experience new things, and he doesn't like to be held back. And he really doesn't want anybody to answer to. So, yes, you're very strong minded. Now, is it true what I was thinking? Like, you're not really the type that can really be submissive to a man. With you being a Leo moon and Sagittarius rising, I can't imagine you being the submissive housewife type. Are you athletic? Do you like to stay active? Because that's very King of Wands. Now, where you're at right now is the Eight of Cups. Did you cut ties with someone right now or recently? Are you letting some aspect of your past go? Are you walking beyond your past? Are you on a quest for insight spiritually in particular? So yes, you're saying not at all in terms of being submissive. I didn't think so. But let's talk about this Eight of Cups that I got dealing with where you're at right now. Because the Eight of Cups can mean that you're over something and you're ready to move on. And you're tired, you're weary, you might be burnt out. Something that has been holding you back, you have let go of. So it could be that. So let me know what's going on right now in relation to this Eight of Cups. You could be, again, seeking some spiritual guidance. You might be even thinking about going on a retreat, even if it's maybe some spiritual, event in your local area. It can represent that. But Eight of Cups, that's about letting things go that are no longer serving you or that are holding you back. So you said, yes, I'm about to be 50 and headed to my next stage in life. That makes a lot of sense. I'm turning 50 this year too. Isn't it a crazy time? 50. Now, I'm starting to really come to a place of acceptance about turning 50, and I'm starting to look forward to it because I'm going to make my 50s count. But I'm like, time flies. It really does. Now, where you're headed is the Knight of Cups. That makes me think that there's going to be some event in your future, but that could be your birthday party. Are you going to have a pretty um big party or even just a gathering of people for your 50th? Oh yeah, I will do a 50th birthday live in my birthday suit. Psych. I don't want to scare people. No, let me stop. But no. So you're a Libra, so your birthday ain't gonna be till the fall. So you might be going to some other event that involves travel in your near future. Let me know, do you have any trips planned? Because a lot of times the Knight of Cups can represent an event that you have to travel. Could be a concert, could be in a convention, could be some type of conference, something like that. So you said, I'm hoping to have a big 50s party. Okay, let's make it happen. Indigo said the 40s is ghetto so far. You know what? I still didn't have my shit all the way together in my 40s, especially the early 40s. So don't feel bad, Indigo. The 40s was kind of a little ghetto for me too. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, once I hit 50, I really can't make any excuses. I really can't. But yeah, so Knight of Cups, there might be. So if you don't know of any event just yet, There might be an opportunity to attend something. It might even represent a romantic connection. I don't know how you feel about that. Asia, are you married or are you single? Are you open to dating? Because the Knight of Cups can represent a man that, is a little sweet on you. But like I was telling somebody that I recently did a reading for, I said, the Knight of Cups, he's good. I'm not going to use my exact words, but I was like, the Knight of Cups, he's nice and everything. I said, but he's notorious for changing his mind. But I did enjoy my 40s. I really did. Because like I feel like once you hit your 40s, you really start to know who you are. And you really start to say, I'm not willing to accept that. I don't want that in my life. I'm not going to be wasting my time on this person. Because once you get in your 40s, you really start to feel that clock ticking. The clock is winding down. And then when you hit your 50s, the clock seems to really speed up, I would say. I mean, the clock was speeding up even like once I hit 45, it seemed like the clock started speeding up. All right, next we have Shine Star. You're a shining star. You know who you are. Okay, let's see who you are, Shine Star, and where you're at and where you're headed. Oh, I also back to you, Asia, too. That Knight of Cups can also represent some type of therapeutic treatment that you might be getting in the future as well. So if you're due for a massage, go ahead and get one. If you're due for, the whole shebang in terms of spa services, go ahead and get one. Treat yourself. All right, Shine Star. My oldest daughter, she's here visiting. She's been here almost 2 weeks now. So I'm not on my regular mode of operation. Because, when somebody is here that don't usually be here, you're kind of thrown off. But it's been nice having her here. All right, the card representing you, I got the Eight of Cups. So this is basically saying you're really not the type that likes to be dependent. If you find yourself feeling like you're being in a codependent situation, codependent relationship, you're going to really try to cut those ties. You're not really the type to dwell on the past and to dwell on past hurts, even. And you're very much on a quest for understanding. It could be not just understanding yourself, but just understanding the world around you. That Eight of Cups can also be someone who is a bit tired. You might be dealing with some fatigue. You might be a little weary. You might be kind of ready to just hang it up. And sometimes that Eight of Cups can represent a divorce. So if you've been recently divorced, that's your card. If you're thinking about getting a divorce, that's your answer. Where you're at right now, I got the Five of Pentacles, which tells me you're not exactly in a good place. Because there's really not much that you can say positive about the Five of Pentacles beyond somebody taking pity upon you. You might be taking pity upon yourself. You might be trying to nurse yourself back to health. You might have went through an injury, or you might be dealing with some type of illness. You might be dealing with some aches and pains. But the Five of Pentacles, beyond the health part, it could represent rejection. Somebody might have turned you away that you came to them for help. You might be focusing too much on the negative. You might be focused too much on the material instead of the spiritual. The Five of Pentacles, that's a Taurus card. So money problems could be an issue, but it can also just represent that you're being more pessimistic instead of optimistic. But I wouldn't even say I'm not getting a vibe that you're being pessimistic. I'm getting the vibe that there's really something going on that is not in your favor, and that I'll just say hopefully things will get better. But Five of Pentacles can represent where you feel like either somebody is ignoring you or rejecting you, or you're just going through hard times, you're dealing with financial struggle, you're dealing with some health problems, and I hope things get better. All right, Shine Star said true, especially with not wanting to be overly dependent. I'm single though. Okay, good. And yes, continue to be that way because to be dependent on people, that means you're putting power in their hands. Now, what about this Five of Pentacles card? Are you okay? Are you going through something health-wise? Um, Whether it's mental health, physical health, are you feeling kind of down? Is it hard for you to get motivated to do anything? Are you dealing with any type of loss? Let me know because that Five of Pentacles, it's basically telling me that things aren't the way they should be right now for you. But where you're headed is the World card. And in your case, I'm seeing the World card representing wrapping things up, bringing things to a close. So you might be approaching a time where you're coming to a completion, you're coming to an end of a cycle, and a new cycle is going to begin. And hopefully that new cycle will be better than where you're coming from. That World card is a card of success and fulfillment. So that's good. So you said I cringe when I see the Five of Pentacles, more so of finances. Definitely low on motivation. I've been trying to change, but it's like a perpetual Groundhog Day. Oh, that kind of makes me think of the World card. But just know that because you got the World card, it basically means yes, you're coming to an end to your current cycle and you can look forward to a brighter day ahead and you're going to get motivation to do something big, something that is going to really make you say basically, you know how sometimes it's not so much about you, but what you produce. And if you produce something of value that people can really appreciate, that's going to lift your spirits. That's going to basically give you something to live for again. I see that happening for you, where you're going to enter a new phase in your life and you're going to find a new sense of purpose and you're going to really feel fulfilled from that point on. So know that you're basically at the darkest point in your life right now, I feel like, and things are going to change for the better in the future. I like that reading for you because it's being real. It's showing you where you're at right now, but it's showing that you're about to elevate. All right, next we have Abu. Abu, are you still here? You're welcome, Shine Star, and thank you. I didn't know. Honestly, I didn't think I would have so many participants. So thank you guys. Now, I'm gonna have to go a little faster because I gotta make sure I get my steps in before midnight. But it's only 9 o'clock here, so that's good. I still got 3 hours. All right, Abu, it's all about you. What you gonna do? It's all about you. All right. Who you are, where you're at, and where you're headed. Okay, I got the Ten of Cups for who you are. And that Ten of Cups, that's a Pisces card. And Ten of Cups is a card about like friendship, togetherness. It can represent like coming together, unity, a merging, even because it is Pisces. So that tells me that you're in a pretty, well, I can't say you're in a good space right now, but it can just show that you're very much about working together with others in a harmonious way, the best way you can. And you're very much about maintaining friendships. Did you recently make a friend or did you recently um get to know someone better? That Ten of Cups can be again a card of togetherness, friendship, um, where you just feel this sense of belonging. Did you join some type of organization? Did you join some type of club? Because it can also deal with where you are being accepted into a certain circle. So you said, I love collaborating with people. So are you currently collaborating with anybody on a project? And where you're at right now, I got the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups, sometimes she be all in her feelings, but it can also mean that she's very much about home. She's very much about the softer side of life. You're very much about, taking care of matters of the heart. You might be a little more psychic intuitive right now. So you might be going through a transit that's really making your psychic intuitive abilities really keen right now. Because the Queen of Cups, she's a psychic. The Queen of Cups is also very sentimental. Queen of Cups is also about like just reminiscing about the past. And the Queen of Cups is also about mother. So your mother could be a major theme in your life right now. So let me know if that's the case. You either could be thinking about her a lot, or you might have been talking to her recently, maybe even today. So that is a major theme. And then also creative energy. So you could be thinking about doing something on the creative end. You might also be thinking about career, especially careers that really speak to your heart, something that would bring emotional fulfillment career wise. And then where you're headed is, I got the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands, that is a card of travel. So you could be traveling in the future. But the Four of Wands can also mean that you're going to be reaching a milestone. You're going to have a milestone moment in the future, Abu. So that could mean that you're either going to be graduating, or at least completing a semester, or reaching a new year in terms of your education. It could even mean with your job, you could be moving up a level, maybe getting a raise, maybe moving up to supervisor or something like that. But just know that a milestone is in your future. You're going to be achieving something. Hey, Josie. Josie and the Pussycats. So it's good to get the Four of Wands. Let me know if you also have any plans to travel in the future, especially if it's about like family reunions or anything like that. So you said I graduate in 2 months. Well, there you go. That's the graduation. That's the Four of Wands. All right. All right. Next we have Madam 25. That sounds like a fragrance. Let me get some of that Madam 25. All right. Madam 25. Who you are, where you are right now, and where you shall be. Hawaii, we're gonna save yours for last because you want the Celtic Cross. Because I don't want to disrupt my rhythm right now. All right, let's see. All right, who you are. I got the Sun card. I love the Sun card. Sun card, that's one of the most positive cards of the deck. Now, the Sun is about expression, full on expression of yourself, especially in terms of creative expression. The Sun card is about a person who is successful, a person who is lively, a person who brightens other people's days. Madam 25, are you here? So I want to know what your sun sign is, and also your rising sign and your moon sign. But the Sun card, that's a good card to represent who you are. And you could be a natural leader. You could be somebody that's going places in life, but it can also mean you're a child at heart and you have this innocence to you still. I love it. And you could be full of love and light as well. So the Sun. Yes, Jupiter. Remember I said you're like a delicate flower? I was like, if you just touch one of the petals, it could fall off. That's why you got to treat yourself with care. You got to be gentle with yourself. So I said, Madam, are you hiring? I want to go to the med spa and get fire treatment. So yes, bringing light to others, bringing this warmth to others. You could be somebody that when you come around or when you smile, you just lighten up a room. That's the Sun card. Where you're at right now, I got the Ace of Pentacles. So the Ace of Pentacles, because it's an ace, it can represent new beginnings. So it can represent that maybe you started working a new job, or you embarked upon a new career path, or maybe you've made a new friend, or maybe you're receiving some help. Maybe you received a lump sum of money. Oh, that'd really be good. Maybe you've moved, you relocated, maybe you purchased a new home. So Ace of Pentacles, that is a really good card to represent where you are at right now. And again, think beginnings because we're dealing with aces. Because it's Pentacles, it's material. So we're dealing with material gain. Oh, there you are, madam. So yeah, let's talk about this Ace of, well, first, let's back it up to the Sun card. So what I said about the sun, does it resonate? Do you brighten people's lives? Do you light up a room when you enter it? Are you someone who's a natural leader? Do you have a spirit of a winner? Are you always looking on the bright side? Are you more, optimistic than pessimistic? These are all traits of the sun. Thank you, Jupiter. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, madam, let me know if the sun card resonates with you. And the sun card can also represent somebody who is very creative and likes to express themselves creatively. And also remember what I said, it could also be somebody who's still a child at heart and who might have a special, fondness for children where maybe you want to help children in some way. Maybe you want to teach children because the sun card also represents children. And then again, like that Ace of Pentacles, that could be money in the bank, lump sum payment, that could be a new home, it could be a new friend has entered your life, you receive some help. But also the Ace of Pentacles can be health as well. It can mean that you've received a clean bill of health. Maybe you've gotten a checkup, you got some tests done, and everything looks good. But it can also mean you've been given some medication because that pentacle can represent a pill. It can also represent an offering. Somebody could have offered you something. Now, okay, you said people would say that about me, but I've been feeling the complete opposite internally. Oh, so that tells me that even though you're feeling the opposite internally, you still put on a good face externally. Like you're not the type that want to make people, like you don't want people to know you're going through it. So you'll put on a good face. That's how I'm seeing it. But are you experiencing any issues like in the area of love? Just let me know. But yes, that Ace of Pentacles, that's a good card to get in terms of where you're at right now. Now, for the future where you're headed, I got the Nine of Swords. And the Nine of Swords can represent maybe a series of events that take place that are not that enjoyable, I'll say. It can mean one thing after another in terms of things that you have to do. It can mean that you and a person might get into a heated disagreement, and it might not even be face to face. It could be through text or email. It could mean that there's just a lot on your mind, racing thoughts. You might have a hard time sleeping at night at times, might be have some disturbing dreams, waking up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat. So just know that you might be dealing with some mental anguish in the future. And if you're already going through something, like you're already kind of feeling the opposite of the sun internally, to see this Nine of Swords in terms of where you're headed, that can represent, okay, you're going to deal with whatever you're going through internally, you're going to bring it out and basically deal with it head on. And it might be a little painful at times, or it might cause a little anguish, but sometimes it's best to get it out, put it all on the table, lay it on the line, and just so you can move on, basically. Oh, Nine of Swords too. I've seen it come up to represent mental telepathy as well. So sometimes it can mean that, you know how sometimes you just start thinking about somebody and it can mean because they're thinking about you? That can happen as well. Hey, Amber. All right. Hope that gave you some type of insight. All right, Roma, you are next. So first card is going to be who you are. Second card, where you are at right now. And third card is where you're headed. Synesthesia. Oh, yes, all is well with me, just Amber. Hope all is well with you. All right, Roma. And then after Roma, I'm going to go to some of the Diggable Planets channel members and mods that I haven't got to, and then I'll go back to the list. All right, Roma, the card that represents who you are. Oh God, this is so you. Some of y'all I know, I know a little too well. So when some of these cards come on, I'm like, oh yeah, that's her all day. So Roma, I got oh, you're welcome, Adam. Roma, I got four swords for you. And you know about tarot, so you should already know four of swords, that's a Libra card. And that is so you because you're a Libra rising, you got Mercury in Libra rising, and that's you, contemplation. That is the key word or one of the main keywords for the four of swords. So contemplating your future, contemplating your next step, really taking the time to think things through. And sometimes the forest source can also just represent passivity. Not much is going on right now, not really being very active, but more so mentally active than physically active. Taking a time out can be also forest swords as well. But the main theme I'm seeing with you in particular is contemplation. Contemplating where you're at right now, where you're headed, where you want to see yourself maybe in a few years, all of that. And the four swords can also represent that you could be thinking about traveling too at some point because the four swords can sometimes represent vacations, travel as well. So Roman, you said, oh yes, I've been reflecting heavily. So yes, that's on point. And then where you're at right now, I got the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups is a card of opportunity. It is a card where, you might be thinking about doing something that looks promising. You might be, exploring some avenues that you haven't considered before. And then also something that deals with emotional situations could be what you're going through right now with the Knight of Cups. And remember, I said, if you were listening to what I was saying when I pulled the Knight of Cups for somebody else, that the Knight of Cups is notorious for changing his mind. So he might see an opportunity, but later on he might say, nah, I changed my mind, I don't think so. So just know that nothing is ever set in stone when it comes to the Knight of Cups, but it can just mean that you are basically considering certain opportunities. You're thinking about, doing certain things, but you're not exactly sure, so you're kind of playing it by ear right now. You're feeling things out, you might be doing some research. And also the Knight of Cups can represent a trip as well. So let me know if in the near future or even in the recent past you traveled somewhere, you took a trip, even if it was just like an hour away from home or something like that, or even like 40 minutes away from home, or if you participated in some type of social event, activity, what have you. So Roma said, I've been looking into the metal arts certificate for next year. So that's on point with the Knight of Cups. And you said looking into, which makes me see that, yes, it's an opportunity that you're considering, but not exactly set in stone just yet. So that's on point. And then where you're headed, I got the King of Cups. And the King of Cups is making me think of something dealing with your profession. And it could deal with some type of certificate that you receive or some type of what do you call it, basically where you might reach the next level. And we did talk about um some of your goals that you had professionally, so that makes me think of some of what we talked about, especially in terms of some type of certification where you're actually able to have a title at that point. The King of Cups can also represent something that you're doing on the side outside of work that could be very, either lucrative or successful in the long run. A lot of times with King of Cups, it's about conceptualization first, and then you might propose your idea to other people, or even if it's just something that you're going to do on your own, it might take some time, some planning and stuff, but then when you launch it, it's going to be good. So there could be something that you're doing right now that's going to prepare you for this King of Cups in the future. And again, where you can actually call yourself something, where you actually have a professional title. And some of it could involve like counseling, even doing readings for people, even. And I think you did mention about incorporating numerology with something. But yeah, we'll talk about it more because Roma's one of my students. So when we have class, we'll talk about this more, in depth. So King of Cups is where you're headed. And creativity, that's a major theme for Cups. So could be something that you're going to do on the creative end, but again, where it's official, you have a title and you can say, and with the title is basically showing that you have a certain skill. All right. Indigo, did you want to participate? You said my bad. I didn't know there was a list. I had stepped out a bit. Okay. Indigo, you ready? Joel said I can't stand auto tune or auto correct for that matter. All right. All right, Indigo. Card representing who you are. You're welcome, Roma. Then a card representing where you are right now, and then a card representing where you're headed. But you're a diggable planet, so you get to get it for free. All right. Oh, maybe you were answering somebody's question. Okay. All right, we're gonna see if you get any swords being a Gemini. Oh, there you go. We got the Six of Swords. There's your sword. Now, the Six of Swords, it's not a Gemini card. It's an Aquarius card. Do you have anything? Oh, you're Aquarius. Rising. There you go. There you go. You see how these cards be on point? So you got the Six of Swords representing your Aquarius ascendant. And the Six of Swords is somebody that will continue to move forward in life. Because Aquarius is about being progressive. So you could look at the Six of Swords as somebody that's progressing forward. But you know what? Some of what you're leaving behind, it might be a little sad at times. Or some people may not want to see you progress forward. They might want you to stay back where they are, where the rough waters are. But see, that Six of Swords is showing that you've been through some rough times and now you're trying to sail into smoother waters. And you can even say you're trying to move over into a life of convenience, or at least increase convenience. Okay, you said I sent you an email. The first one, the second one is more refined. Okay, thank you. So, Six of Swords, that's who you are right now. Someone who is the type that will cut ties without much warning if they're giving you too much grief. But also it could deal with where you might have dealt with a painful loss. And you might still be trying to recover from that loss with that Six of Swords. Because the Six of Swords can also represent that you've gone through a period of mourning. And it can even represent the death of someone. So, yes, you might still be going through a period of mourning, and you may you may have not reached those peaceful waters just yet, but just know you're headed in that direction. And anybody that's trying to pull you back into the rough waters, it's not going to work. You're not going to allow them to pull you back. So you said, I just cut ties with a best friend, well, former. Yeah, that's that Six of Swords. And then you said, yes, I'm ready to move on. Now, where you're at right now. Oh, I see a new friend coming into your life because I see the Ace of Pentacles right now currently. So that could be maybe you already met this new person, but it can also represent new money. So you might have a business opportunity in the waiting, or it could be just a new job you got, could be a new place to live, lump sum money. You could be receiving some help. You said I'm on my surfboard. Surfboard, grinding on that, grinding on that. Let me. You need to stop. All right, but yes, Ace of Pentacles. That's a good card to represent where you are right now. Yes, new money. That's what I'm talking about. And that Ace of Pentacles can also represent that you might have extended someone a helping hand because I know how helpful you are. So, have you extended somebody a helping hand as of late? Somebody might be in need of some help, and here you come saying, look, here you go. I got you. Now, in the future, where you're headed, I got Knight of Cups. And that Knight of Cups can represent you're going to be doing something on the creative end that could involve getting together with other people, attending an event. Do you plan on attending any events in the near future, such as any concerts, any type of like plays or performances, any type of like get togethers, reunions, anything like that you got in your future? Let me know if you got anything on the horizon. But that Knight of Cups can also represent possible new romance. But again, you got to be careful with that Knight of Cups because he's wishy-washy. You say, I'm working on making videos to help people during this economy on one of my channels. Oh, there you go. So creative, again, creative projects, Knight of Cups, that would be the videos that you're going to put out. And that's telling me that these videos are probably going to get some traction, especially because you're going to be dealing with the economy. And a lot of people are going to want to get some information, get some tips, advice on how to make it in this economy. So Knight of Cups, that's a good card to show where you're headed. And you just confirmed it with the videos that you are going to be producing. Good. You might want to team up with somebody too. You might want to think about doing that. Or that Knight of Cups can mean somebody is going to come to you with an opportunity. All right, who else we got? Kira. Kira, would you like a reading? Just 3 cards for self-exploration, just telling you who you are, where you are right now, and where you're headed. While I'm waiting for your answer, did I do smile? I don't think I did smile. I did shine star, but I didn't do smile. Smile, where you're at. Where you at? I'm going to do your 3 cards right now. You're welcome. Okay, Kira, let me write you down. So I have smile right now. Next is red November. Then I have Cameron. Then I have Shammy, Tracy, Dr. Ken, and then Kira. All right, smile. Who you are, smile. Where you're at right now. So you've been going to concerts and games, Indigo. Okay, you'll probably be going to another one in the future this year. All right, smile. So I got the 6 of Cups again, representing who you are. I already got the 6 of Cups. That was for Red Bunny. So smile, you get the 6 of Cups too. So 6 of Cups is somebody that will lend people support. 6 of Cups is somebody that will basically be, like I told Red Bunny, will be a shoulder for people to cry on. 6 of Cups is somebody that, is reminiscing about the past, thinking about yesteryear, could it be that it was all so simple then type of energy? But the 6 of Cups can also come with this innocence, and it could also involve children in some cases. Being, somebody that is going to look out for people that can't look out for themselves. Somebody that's going to be doing something like on a therapeutic end. And then where you're at right now, I got the Hierophant. So that can mean that you're either in school, you're taking classes, but it can also represent spiritual training as well. So let me know, smile, if you're here, if you're doing anything on the educational level or spiritual level. But the Hierophant could also represent that you're playing it safe right now. You're not really trying to make any waves. You're just trying to keep the peace. And also, it can represent things turning back to normal, things becoming normal again. So let me know if that resonates with you. And then where you're headed, I got the sun card. So that's good because the sun card can deal with you're coming out. Like if you were kind of being a little introverted, or you were kind of being like closed in, not really wanting to do much, not being very, outgoing, that sun card can change things up and cause you to be more outgoing, livelier, more vivacious, where you're willing to even take some risk, where you're trying to have some fun. You're doing something that involves children again. So I'm seeing a children theme kind of strong here. So let me know, Smile, whether you're on the live right now, or you can let me know in the comments if you watch the replay. Let me know if children are a major theme in your life, because I am seeing a strong children theme. But the sun card is also representing the height of creative expression. So you might be producing something on a creative level that's really going to make you shine. So that's a really good card to get in terms of where you're headed. I read November. You are next. Oh, Kira said Moon in Leo, Sun in Aries, Venus and Saturn in Pisces, but I'm not sure about my ascendant. I think it's a Virgo. I'm a woman. Thank you, Kira. All right, right now, read November. It's all about you. I got the Temperance card representing you. Now, the Temperance card can represent a moderator. Are you one of my moderators, Red November? Red November. Hold on, let me see. Let me go back. Hopefully I can see. Red November, are you still here? But the Temperance card can represent somebody that doesn't want to take an extreme position. They want to try to take the middle of the road approach. Oh, there you are. So you're a diggable planet. So maybe you're also supposed to be one of my moderators. Maybe that's why I got the Temperance card, because moderation is a major theme of that Temperance card. And it can also mean that you're going to be a little, you're not trying to go all the way with something. You're just going to try it out, see how it is, not make a full on commitment. You're not the type to just basically just jump in with both feet. That's the Temperance. So you said, I've been feeling down for still not having it together at 42. Oh, don't feel down. I didn't have it all together at 42. I most definitely didn't. Oh, you got time. You got time to get it together. But yes, that Temperance card can represent, you know, you may even just have a problem, period, with just going all in situations. Doing things half-ass could be one of the issues that you might need to contend with. And I'm not trying to, get down on you or anything like that, but that is just the nature of the Temperance card. Because a lot of times you are only willing to just go only so far. You don't want to go full on with it. But it might even be to your benefit to do that. Also, the Temperance card can represent a blending of energy. It is a card of multiculturalism and interracial relations. Maybe you're biracial. Let me know if you are, because that Temperance card can represent somebody that is biracial or someone who is multicultural. Yeah, I should make her a mod, but that's if she wants to. But and the Temperance card can also basically represent somebody that is not sure of themselves, even. So, again, they're going to test the waters and see how they like it, but they're not willing to go fully in. Know that there could be a need for you to exercise moderation when it comes to certain things that you do, whether it's eating or drinking. It could be even spending time on social media. Now, where you're at right now, this card keeps coming up, Ace of Pentacles. But that's good because I want good things to happen for everybody. So, Ace of Pentacles, a lot of times there's Ace of Pentacles, a lot of times it's not going to be easy to find bad things about this card, but there could be bad things about every card. It's about context. But if it's a card representing where you're at right now, again, it can represent new things that are happening, such as a new job, new friends. It can represent even medication, like I said before, or maybe even you're taking some vitamins that is helping you to stay healthy. Some supplements could even represent that. A lump sum of money can be the Ace of Pentacles as well. And then where you're headed is the Knight of Wands. That means that looks like you're headed for some excitement. Looks like you're headed for some fun in your life. Knights can always deal with travel, any of the knights. So the Knight of Wands, Knight of Cups, Knight of Pentacles can represent some type of trip. If we're talking about the Knight of Wands type of trip, it could deal with some type of trip like that involves amusement, excitement. It can be like a sporting event. So, and just know that Knight of Wands can deal with rapid change that is upon you. And usually that change is positive instead of negative. So if you've been feeling kind of stagnant, if you've been waiting for some change to take place, know that it's coming in your future with that Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands can also represent a fling that you find yourself in. So if we put these two cards together, we connect the Ace of Pentacles with the Knight of Wands. The Ace of Pentacles can represent you meet this guy, he's a friend, and then next thing you know, y'all get into some little fling. Keep in mind though, the Knight of Wands is more the hit it and quit it type. He doesn't stay around. And again, this isn't a deep reading. This is just showing where you're headed. But I'm just saying the potential for you to be in like a fling, or even if it's just a one night situation, hey, if it works for you, I love it. But that doesn't have to be the case with the Knight of Wands. It could just mean you got some excitement in your future. There's an event you'll be attending that, might have to travel a little bit to get there. All right. Next, we have Cameron. Cameron, you here? All right, Cameron, who you are, where you're currently at, and where you're going. You said, no, ma'am, I'm not a mod. Do you want to be a mod? Because I got that temperance card. That's a moderator. I don't even know how to make a person a mod from my phone. I guess I click on your name, Cameron. So remember you said Red November, you had posted a comment earlier and you said, let me see if I could go back to your comment because you said something about being 42 and you don't have it all together and you're feeling kind of down. And I feel that's related to that temperance card because that temperance card can mean that there's some things you want to do. And it can even mean you have talent or a gift to do it, but there might be something that is making you hesitant to go all the way. And maybe you need to do that. Maybe you need to say, before I turn 45, I'm going to do this. I'm going to achieve this goal. Okay. Yeah, you said, I've been feeling down for still not having it together at 42. So I feel that that temperance card that I got that's representing you. Yeah, you said, yes, I played too safe. Exactly. You might have to stick your neck out more. You might have to, you know, be willing to go further than you've gone before ever in your life to really turn things around and really create the type of life that you deserve. And that could be also the issue with temperance too in some cases. There might be something within you that doesn't feel deserving of a certain type of life or a certain level of success. So you might need to do some examination. You said half-ass master right here. That's the temperance card. I always say the temperance card is that half-ass card. Jules said, Rod doesn't even need mods. Everyone is peaceful. That is so true. I have to admit, I am grateful. Sometimes I be getting in my bag about, oh, I only had this amount of subscribers. My channel's not growing. I'm being shadow banned, which I really am. I've done readings about it. I'm being shadow banned, y'all. But anyway, I've come to terms with it. But sometimes I really get down that, my channel doesn't get a lot of views. My videos don't get a lot of views. But sometimes you gotta be careful what you wish for, because if I was one of those popular channels, I would be getting a lot of trolls. I would be getting a lot of people that just, they're kind of dumb and they just want the surface knowledge. They don't want to, go deep with astrology or tarot and stuff like that. So sometimes you gotta be grateful for having a small circle, because that's where you can really make an impact and you can really make a difference. And sometimes the small circle will be more about quality. Sometimes it's more about quality than quantity. Indigo said, very true. We family here. Yes, I love it. It does feel like family. And that's why I got Cancer on my seventh house cuts. Okay, Cameron, it's about you right now. Puerto Rico, ho, a Puerto Rico, ho, a Puerto Rico. No, I grew up around Puerto Ricans, so very familiar with Puerto Rican. Some of my closest friends were Puerto Rican. All right, let's go. Cameron. Oh, here you are. Yeah. So, Cameron, we're doing you, who you are right now, where you're at, and where you're headed. Okay. This card keeps coming up, but it makes sense. Because again, there's a lot of people in here that have big hearts, that care a lot about others, that are very supportive. So, Cameron, I got the Six of Cups for you. And this is the third time I pulled this card for people, including like representing who they are. So you're one of three people in this chat that's represented by the Six of Cups. And like I was telling other people, that Six of Cups can represent somebody that is a source of support, a source of encouragement, that will be a shoulder to cry on, that is like a quasi therapist. And I know you're good with the astrology, so I know you probably be helping people all the time. Telling people about their charts, telling them about, how they could be doing this better, or how they could be, maximizing their potential in this area, how they don't need to be dealing with this person and that person and all that. So yes, you could say you're an astro therapist. That's what I'm gonna call you. You said don't get down about that. Remember your Taurus self. No, I know, I know. Now refresh my memory, Cameron. What you got? Do you got anything in Scorpio? And can you resonate with what I'm saying about that Six of Cups? Like, are you doing readings for people, friends, family, paying clients, what have you, where you're providing your astrological expertise and helping them to navigate the waters of life, the rough waters of life, and helping them to come to an understanding of, who they are and, you know, what they're faced with and all that. That's very Six of Cups. And then also, again, Six of Cups can produce this longing for yesteryear, or at least this sentimentality about the days going by, about the past, about the old days, even when it comes to like home and, things like that. A time of innocence, even. Oh, you would love to be a mod? Indigo, are you able to make Red November a mod? Let me see if I can. So it says pin message. I can't do it from my phone. If any of the mods can make Red November a mod, I greatly appreciate it. I don't think I could do it from my phone. I would have to do it on my desktop. And you could say somebody that has that Six of Cups energy. They are, again, somebody that you could say they're coming with this wisdom from experience. And a lot of times it's through experiences that could even be quite traumatic. And then you might even be helping someone get through a traumatic experience. And then even helping people who are younger than you. Maybe you're some type of, mentor or guide for those people. or it could be just one person in particular. Now, where you're at right now, okay, you got sixth house Pluto. That's very Six of Cups, because that can mean, part of your work is to help people on a psychological level, on a therapeutic level. Where you're at right now is the King of Wands. That makes me think of a man. Who is this man I'm seeing right now, Cameron? What is going on? And I'm not seeing anything bad out of it either, because when I see the King of Wands, now, granted, on the dark side, the King of Wands could be an asshole, but a lot of times it's a man that, he's hot to trot, but it could just represent you too. So are you doing something that is going to get you to the next level in terms of your profession, in terms of a business? You said, I'm just an accounting manager. But I thought you did readings for people, Karen. Trying to keep everyone at this new small company from quitting from the stress. So that is Six of Cups then. So you're helping to keep people motivated. You're helping to encourage people to keep moving on. But let's talk about this King of Wands. Now, King of Wands, he is a leader. King of Wands is a boss. So you being a manager is very King of Wands. So you said literally every day is me trying to keep people's heads up and focus on the goal. I'm a 12th house sun. I'm everybody's therapist. Yup. But the King of Wands can mean that, you're able to rise above the pettiness in the office and even in just every other area of life. Because the King of Wands, he doesn't like to be petty. He doesn't like to even engage in a bunch of small talk or gossip and all that stuff. He wants to rise above that. Are you doing anything right now that would put you in a position to even be more of a leader, to be even more of a boss? That's the question with that King of Wands. But the King of Wands can also represent a man in your life as well. So that's just something to think about. And then where you're headed is the Nine of Wands. That's you holding on even though you're ready for change. A lot of times the Nine of Wands can mean that you have one more step. Okay, Red November said, I've been wanting to move to Arizona, around the desert, just call my soul. Well, come on. Let's do it. Let's get it on. Let's move. Sometimes you just got to take that leap of faith. You really do. But back to you, Cameron. That Nine of Wands can mean that you are coming upon the final finish line. You're coming upon the final stretch of the race. And you only have one more hurdle to overcome before you can basically say, I've made it. I've arrived. I can now move on. Is this dealing with your current job? Maybe you are looking for something different, but you have to just wait it out. You have to wait until a certain time for you to make your move. But right now, you're just holding on. And the Nine of Wands can also mean that you're being kind of wary too. So in the future, you might be a little wary. You might deal with a coworker that you might see like, okay, this person is not to be trusted. And you might just be kind of waiting and seeing how their performance is going to be before you put the word out that, okay, this person they're the weakest link, basically. It could be like that. But again, if you're looking to accomplish something, that Nine of Wands is saying in the future, you're going to be at that finish line and you're only going to have one last step before you're going to be successful or before you reach that point of completion. All right. Next, we have Shammy. You said we could make this into an annual thing. I love it. Now I'm starting to see, yeah, I could only do this probably 2 times a month because this is long. I didn't realize there'd be so many participants, but I'm so grateful for it. And again, they have that saying, they be like, God gives you what you can handle. And honestly, if I had a big channel, I wouldn't even be able to do these because it'd be too many requests. I wouldn't be able to fit everybody in. So I get it. All right, Shammy, you're up. Who are you? Where you're at? and where you're headed. Okay, Jupiter. Oh, thank you. I love you too. All right. So, Shammy, who you are? I got the death card. And that death card makes me think of Scorpio. And if you're who you are, I think you are. Don't you? I think you do got some strong Scorpio energy. But I can't remember exactly, but I'm almost certain you do. But the death card is about change. It doesn't deal with actual death a lot of times. It can mean transition. So you might feel like you're always in transition if you are represented by the death card. Okay, Cameron, you said, oh yeah, duties keep piling up. The man is probably our president, who I work with really close with, and I've almost completely turned his accounting department around. Wow. Just waiting for it to settle now, too. Okay. So that sounds like that Nine of Wands, where you're going to have one last step before you can fully turn it around, and then you're going to feel this sense of accomplishment. And that might even be your signal to move on to bigger and better things because it'll be like, my job is done here. Now it's time for me to go fix something else. Now back to Shammy. So again, being represented by the death card can mean that it may seem like you're always in transition. Like your life is not static. Your life is very dynamic. And you might see people come and go in your life. Wait a minute, Jupiter, you say it's funny that you called me a delicate flower. I just planted some wildflower seeds today. And remember, I talked about the song Wildflower when I was going through the Aries cards. But yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Let me stop distracting myself. So Shammy, but I'm gonna stay keep up to date with the comments. But Shammy, yes, Death card. You could say transition, a very dynamic life, people coming in and out of your life. You could say your life is like a revolving door, or you're like a revolving door. But you can also say you're somebody where it's meant for you to take out the trash. Meaning, if you start to feel that there's people who are toxic influences in your life, yes, it's time for you to take out the trash. Now, where you're at right now, I got the Six of Pentacles. And the Six of Pentacles can represent where someone is either helping you or you're helping them. It can mean that they want you to be in a position of submission or they want you to humble yourself. You might find yourself in a humbling situation. But in some cases, that Six of Pentacles can deal with where you're looking to be compensated for something. You're looking to be paid back. Maybe somebody borrowed something and now they're trying to pay you back or you're looking to be paid back. Maybe you're receiving help. Maybe you receive some type of raise. It can also represent where you feel ignored. So if you're in the comment, if you're in the chat, let me know if any of that resonates. Because with the Six of Pentacles, you could either be the person doling out the coins or you could be one of the people who are in a needy position. So either you're in a needy position or you're the one that's helping someone out. Know that if somebody is making you grovel for something that you need or want, try to see if you can get it in a different way because I feel like you shouldn't have to grovel to get what you want. And I think I know what this is talking about too, because sometimes the Six of Pentacles can also deal with where you got to make a choice, and that choice is hard. And if you make that choice, somebody's going to be really upset with you because they're going to feel like they're being neglected or ignored. Let me know if that makes sense to you. And then where you're headed, I got the Four of Pentacles. So that can mean that, let's say that you're going to school, you're taking a class, there could be a final exam that you need to pass in order to either get your certificate, get your degree, or make it to the next level. That Four of Pentacles is basically saying you're going to pass with flying colors, you're going to pass the test, but it can also represent that you're going to be in a more financially secure position. It can also represent somebody that's still trying to hold on to you. Could be some ex that comes back into your life and they think that they still should be able to have their way with you. So let me know if any of that resonates with you. All right, Tracy, you're next. And then Jupiter, and then Dr. Ken, and then Kira. And then after that, just let me know if I missed anybody. Uh-oh, it's about to go. I have till 11 o'clock because I got it. Yeah, I think I have about like 800 more steps to get in. Let me see. Yep, I got about 800 steps to get in, and I have to get them in because I'm working towards 1,000 days of getting my steps in a row, and I'm not breaking this for nobody. All right, Tracy. So we're going to pull 3 cards for you, self-exploration. Oh, I thought you were saying to look at the email because you okay. I get what you're saying. You said I love Ruby Soho style. I don't even know who that is. All right, Tracy, who you are, where you're at, and where you're headed. I should do one for myself too, shouldn't I? I'm kind of scared. I don't want to see who I am right now because what if I don't like it? What if I don't like who I am right now? No, I do like who I am right now, but I think the last one I'll do is for myself. After I do Kauai's Celtic Cross, I'm gonna do one for myself. All right, so this is for Tracy. Tracy, who you are, I got the 4 of Cups. That 4 of Cups can mean that you are basically kind of apathetic to a situation, or it can mean you're jaded. It can mean you're disinterested. It might mean you need a change of perspective. A lot, those are like the common meanings of that 4 of Cups. It can mean that, somebody is offering, extending you an offer, but you're not even interested. So basically, 4 of Cups can represent somebody that's not easily moved by things. You're not easily swayed by things. You might have been down that road a number of times, and at this point, you're like, that shit don't work on me no more. I'm good. Abstaining. That's a good word for the 4 of Cups. You're abstaining from something where you know you can do it, but you just choose not to. I don't want to participate. I don't want to get involved. I'm taking a hands-off approach. I'm just going to sit here and just be. So Tracy, let me know if any of that resonates with like who you are right now. And the 4 of Cups is a Cancer card. So sometimes the 4 of Cups can also mean you're kind of like in your feelings, but not in a way where you really want to express your feelings. You're kind of keep it to yourself. You're kind of stewing. You're kind of like, you're in a mood, but you're not really upset or anything. And a lot of times it could just mean you're just observing from afar, like a situation, and you're choosing not to get involved. And then where you're at right now, Queen of Wands. And Queen of Wands, she's about her business. So you might have a business that you're working on. If not, you might be very focused on your career. You might be moving up in terms of your career. You might be, really demonstrating boss energy, leadership energy. And the Queen of Wands, again, that's a woman, she does it all. She is a career woman, but she's also an attentive and loving and nurturing mother. She's also still got it sexually, like she hasn't hit the wall, even though she might be knocking on 50. I ain't trying to toot my own horn, but I am the Queen of Wands, you know? And people be like, you don't look like your age. So yeah, I can relate to this Queen of Wands energy because that's who I am. So Queen of Wands, she's every woman. Yes, Indigo. She's every woman. And that's basically what you're representing right now. That's the energy you're giving off right now. And the Queen of Wands, she really doesn't display any weakness or vulnerability. Even if you might be feeling a little vulnerable right now, she don't display it. She don't allow you to see that side of her. So that's really good. And a lot of times Queen of Wands is about getting results. And a lot of times she might even use a little magic to make things happen. Just do a little candle spell or whatever like that. Now, where you're headed, this is interesting. I got the moon card. This is the first time this card has shown up. That moon card can represent that you're heading into a period of uncertainty. The moon card can sometimes be a little scary, but it doesn't have to be. Sometimes it just means overnight travel. You might be taking a trip that requires you to stay in a hotel for a night or two. Let me know if that's the case. That's on the benign end. But on the sinister end, the moon card can deal with being deceived, being under an illusion, where you are being given a fake instead of the real thing, because that's a major theme of the moon, having to discern between what's real and what's fake. So just know that you need in the future, in the near future, you're going to have to exercise some spiritual discernment because somebody might be trying to pull the wool over your eyes. You might be dealing with a wolf in sheep's clothing. But again, like I said, a lot of times that moon card can deal with overnight travel. It can also deal with where you get this premonition or you receive an omen about something. So, yeah, it can also just represent two different sides of yourself. So you might be expressing more your shadow side in the future. All right. And then who else I got? Dr. Ken. Dr. Ken, you're next. So it looks like I have Dr. Ken and Kira. Let me just check my email real quick and see if there's anybody else. Oh, you sent me the reflections. That's what you were talking about. Thank you so much. Okay. So yeah, I think I'm almost done, which is good because it's getting a little late. So, Dr. Ken, we're going to do your three. I can cast a spell, secrets you can't tell. Make a special brew, put fire inside of you. Yes. And anytime you feel danger or fear, then best believe I will appear. Yeah. I used to love that video when she was wearing the different outfits. Anything you want done, baby, I do it naturally. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right. And then Whitney did the remake, Dr. Ken. All right, let's do you. All right, Dr. Ken, Pisces, Cancer, Sagittarius. All right. That's a diverse mix right there. But you got two waters, which is good. All right. So who you are? I got the Magician. So a couple of people got the Magician tonight, which is really good. I really like when I see the Magician because it lets me know you're on top of your game. And nobody can really shake your confidence or your self-assurance. You know what you're doing. You have skills. Oh, good, Tracy. Oh, I'm so glad. You said it did resonate. Wow, thank you. Yes, even though I forgot exactly what I told you. I'm sorry. I totally forgot. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of these tonight, so forgive me. But I'll go back and look at the replay and stuff and see what y'all were saying. But yes, the Magician on top of your game. You know what you're doing, you know where you're going. You have tools at your disposal. You're skilled professional. That is a major theme of the Magician. And then, you just being a Pisces magician all day. Sometimes all you have to do is wish for something and it happens. This is why you got to be careful what you wish for. But the magician is all about using your will, using your willpower to make things happen, being very resourceful, being very creative as well. Where you're at right now, I got the Hermit. The Hermit can be a card of introspection. It can also be a card where you're in need of some type of spiritual guidance, some type of instruction. It can also represent that you need some alone time. You need some solitude. You might not be really, active right now in terms of your social life. You just keep into yourself. And you might be going through a period where you are becoming more enlightened regarding a certain subject or just more enlightened in general. The Hermit card can also represent health in terms of maybe you need to get a checkup. Maybe you've been thinking about getting a checkup because maybe you've been experiencing some type of symptom. Also, you could be looking for something, searching for something, finding something. You could have a eureka moment, even stumble upon something, a serendipitous moment. But the Hermit card is really good again for introspection, really getting into yourself, really getting to know yourself inside and out. And again, spending some time alone and just really having some downtime as well. So you said I'm over here wishing for this Aries mushroom. What? The Magician, that's where you can make it happen. Okay. Okay. And the Hermit can be how you're thinking about how you're going to go about this. Now, where you're headed, I got the Two of Swords, which can mean that you're going to be kind of on edge, and it could be about this Aries mushroom where let so again, Two of Swords is like a tense period of waiting. So if there's some flirting going on between the two of you, let me know. Like, is there flirting going around? Because that could be the Two of Swords, where it's like, okay, he's giving me clues, I'm giving him signals, but I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to mess this up. Because remember, I said the Two of Swords can be where things are just right, just as they are right now. And if you make a move, even a little inch or a millimeter, you're going to mess it up. So this is where the Two of Swords is like, you got to be kind of careful. You got to take a delicate approach to this. You can't rock the boat too much because the whole thing might just fall apart. So right now it's like you're going to be looking at a delicate situation, and I would just say that basically is also saying you're not even going to make a move. You're just going to allow him to basically dictate how things are going to go. And that's probably the best way to do it anyway. The Two of Swords can also deal with where you're going to be a little indecisive as well. You're not really sure what you want to do. But you could also be rather, so, okay, he's been reduced to a mushroom, which is good because the Two of Swords can mean that you're guarding your heart. If you notice the image in that card, her hands are over her heart. And those swords are basically saying, keep back, stay back. I might let you in a little bit, but not fully. I might let you, okay, let me break it down. The card I'm looking at is from the Morgan Greer Tarot deck. And she's standing up instead of sitting down. So she got the swords over her heart, but there's nothing covering her nether regions. Like her private area is open for business, basically what I'm saying. So that's like you down for the mushroom, but you ain't trying to get caught up in the whole emotional part and love part and all that type of stuff. And that is where you can be in a good place where, hey, you can take some of it and throw the rest away, or, keep the rest, you could keep that over there. I'll take a little bit of this. So hopefully that makes sense to you, Dr. Ken. Yes. I can't get that mushroom out of my head now. I'm just like, damn, it's been a while for me. It really has. We're on 8 years now. I don't even know what they look like anymore. I don't even know what they feel like. If I saw one, I'd be scared probably. I'd be like, put that thing away before it hurts somebody. Now I'd be like, actually, let me see it again. I'd be like, all right, let me just touch it. Let me just remind myself what it feel like. And I'm like, all right, I'll let you put the tip in, just a tip. Next thing you know, I'd be like, let me get on top of that. It's like, no, I'm not trying to go back to that. My life is too peaceful. All right, Kira, it's you. You think I should do TikTok? I'm scared of TikTok. Like what they said about the Chinese government spying on you and stuff. Should I do TikTok? And I don't know if I could keep up with these young people on TikTok because they be cranking these videos out, and sometimes my mind don't work like that. But maybe if y'all help me, maybe I could build a TikTok. But I don't know. I'm scared. I don't want the Chinese spying on me and stuff. All right, Kira, it's about you right now. First card is who you are. Second card is where you're at right now. And the third card is where you're headed. And I'm headed for the freezers. I'm about to put a cherry Coke in the freezer because I earned one tonight. All right, Kira, and you gave me your three. Let me go back to your comment. You say, I'm only here when I want to. All right, because we can't miss your live stream always. Thank you. Okay, wait. I'm going back to what you said you were your three. You say I talk slow all the time. All right, let's see. Moon in Leo, Sun in Aries, Venus and Saturn in Pisces. So we're gonna see if anything resonates with anything you say. And you say you think you might be a Virgo rising, and this pile of cards is like really vibrating strong. So it makes sense that you're an Aries with Moon and Leo, very dominant. I'm scared of you. I'm scared. I'm scared to see what this card is going to be. All right. Oh shit. No, I look, when I told you this card was vibrating something strong, I could, because what I do, different tarot readers have a way of how they choose cards. What I do is I cut the deck and, I put it into two piles, and then I put the palm of my hand over each pile of cards. And that's how I determine which card. Because if I feel a strong vibration, because these cards give off a vibration and you can really feel it on the palm of your hand if you put your hand over it. So when I put my hand over when I put the palm of my hand over that pile of cards, I felt this strong vibration. And that's why I say I'm scared to turn this card over. Yes, your energy is strong. And guess what card I got, you freak? I got the devil card, which means that you're sexy. You're about getting that sex, like you're a sex pot. You exude sexual energy. And it makes sense because you got that Aries Leo combination. Hey, King of Wands. Hey. Yes, that devil card came up. Let me ask you this. Do you have that with you where you just exude sexual energy? Where some guys are just like, it seems like you're irresistible to some of them. Either it's dealing with sexual energy or you're exploitative. I'll say that. You said that girl is poison. All I'm saying, I'm scared of you. That's some heavy energy to be dealing with. And you didn't even say you had anything in Capricorn. Maybe you're a Capricorn rising instead of a Virgo rising. Because the devil card, that's a Capricorn card. But a lot of times it does represent raw sexual energy, sexual prowess. And with you being a Leo moon, didn't you say you had a Leo moon? A lot of Leo moons are very sexual people. So yeah. But just know, with the devil card representing who you are, it could also mean that you're not free. You're not as free. Wait a minute, you said no, not yet, but men help me out a lot. Okay, because they want sex. Make no mistake. Most men will help you because they think they're going to get something in return, or they hoping to get something in return. Don't think they just want to help you out of the kindness of their hearts. So it must be something about you that they want to get at, and that's why they're helping you out. But anyway, the devil card can also mean that you're not exactly free. You're in bondage to something or someone. So you might want to think about what that could be. Like, what are you in bondage to? What's holding you tight? What's keeping you from fully exercising your free will? Sometimes it can be depression. That devil card can sometimes represent that, you know, you just have this energy that's just heavy, dark, depressing. So you said exactly, not free totally. Yeah, because the devil card has you in chains. Like the devil has you in chains, basically, and it could be mental. Take the chain off the brain. But yeah, that's something you can, oh, it's your family. Makes sense. Okay, got you. A lot of times, family can be a big example of the devil because, you can't just cut your family off. Well, some people can, but most of us can't just cut your family off. There's emotional connection there. Oh, Shawnee, I did you. So you're gonna have to rewind it because I can't even remember what cards I pulled, but I already did you. I did you like maybe like 20 minutes ago. And I think what I said is gonna resonate with you. I do remember I pulled the death card because you're Shammy, right? You're the one that sent me the cash out with Shammy. Shammy. But anyway, I remember the card I pulled for you for the card that represent who you are. It was the death card. And I was like, that's like somebody that's always in transition. And I was also saying, you know, that people come and go out of your life. Yes, I did Smiley too. And now I'm on Kira, right? And I did Dr. Ken. And now I'm on Kira. Now, Kira, for where you're at right now, I got the strength card. And the strength card can, I'm seeing the strength card where somebody is trying to finesse you instead of the other way around. I don't see you being the one doing the finessing. So what that means is it could be one of these dudes that are helping you out that's representing the strength card, and I'm telling you to beware. Because what that's basically saying is he's giving you a helping hand, he's helping you out in some way because he's hoping that opens you up to, start giving him some. So just be a little mindful that, some of these guys that are helping you out, a lot of times they have a hidden agenda. A lot of times they have ulterior motives. So just be a little careful with that. And the shrimp card can also mean that you might be giving more focus to health and diet, just like I think it was Regine who got the strength card. Um, for you right now, you might need to, think about getting on top of your health. You might be wanting to get in better shape. You might even think about taking an exercise class or a dance class or what have you. Okay. So you said there are no men in your life, but you did say, I think you said men will help you out though. So even if it's some random dude that gives you a helping hand, be a little more cautious and just know that every helping hand isn't, pure. I'll say that. So you said, yes, I exercise. So yes, that's very much the strength card. You might want to get into dancing too. Do you like to dance, Kira? Because that could be the strength card too. Let me know if you're into dancing because I would recommend that you sign up for like a dance class. Even if it's like what's that dance Zumba? Could be Zumba classes or something like that. And then where you're headed, I got the Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups can represent a reunion of sorts. So somebody might be coming back into your life. It could be an old friend. If you have a lover from the past, it could be an old lover. But it can also represent just an outpouring of emotional support, an outpouring of basically sympathy, even for you. The Ace of Cups can also represent psychic intuitive ability. So you might be getting some strong psychic messages through that Ace of Cups. So, and the Ace of Cups can also just represent the beginning of an emotional situation, something that you have a strong feeling for, and it could be maybe something involving like dance classes or something like that. So that's very good. I like the Ace of Cups. And it's good that you don't have a man in your life right now because sometimes the Ace of Cups can represent pregnancy. So since you don't have a man in your life, that's good that we're not seeing pregnancy. Oh, astrology, yes. So you're an astrologer. So let's go back to that Ace of Cups. So there might be an offering that you decide to start providing your clients. So Ace of Cups can mean a new offering. Have you thought about a new offering a new service, a service that you haven't been providing already that you could to your clients? Think about that. That could be the Ace of Cups. That's something to think about. Like it could be you do relocation charts, astrocartography. You might want to get into, doing solar return charts for them if you haven't already, things like that. Even if you just want to focus on just like doing a relationship reading for, say, oh, I'm tailoring these reading for a relationship, and I'm going to tell you how your relationship profile is going to be. It might even be you start offering readings for newborns. Okay, yeah, that's something to think about. It'll probably come to you at some point in the near future. All right, so I think I got everybody on the list, and now we're just at Kauai. Kauai, we're at you. You woke up right in time, Kauai. Wait a minute, Jupiter is talking about I could be a sex worker, but I would have to file a bunch of restraining or damn. All right, Kauai, you are right on time. X Cookie, you got 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes to make your donation. Because I'm wrapping things up right now. Because I said I'm saving Kauai for last because she wants the Celtic Cross. So Joel said, I love to start up a Brazilian waxing company at home. You should do it. But be careful about the home thing though, because you don't want just anybody coming into your house. Now, if you can have it where you can have like a basement where they don't have access to your upstairs, that would be really good. Where you have your office, like, your, waxing tables and stuff in a basement, and then there's a door where they don't even have to come upstairs. All right, who said, all right, I'm gonna do the 3 card for myself, and then we're gonna do, unless X sends their donation in before I get to Kauai. All right, so we're gonna do myself. I'm scared. Who I am right now, where I'm at right now, and where I'm headed. Okay, you just sent it. Thank you. So I'll do you right after I do myself. Okay, who am I right now? That's messed up. Why I gotta be the 5 of Wands? That basically means I'm conflicted. Am I conflicted right now? But no, I am. Okay, that 5 of Wands can mean that I feel like I have something to prove. And I feel like I kind of do, especially because I have to work on my video for Neptune and Aries. And I got a lot of stuff that I got going on right now. Like after this, I got to work on this reading that I'm doing for a client. Then I got to work on this video. I got to work on a few sponsored videos and some other stuff. So, yes, I'm doing a lot of like multitasking, which is very 5 of Wands. But also, am I kind of conflicted about anything? I'm trying to think. I guess I am a little bit. I am dealing with some internal conflict. I can't voice it right now, but I kind of am. So that is kind of 5 of Wands. And I am, 5 of Wands can be somebody that is, high energy. They're active, and I have been, getting my steps in. And I told y'all I was like, I gotta finish getting my steps in before it turns midnight because I've been on I've been trying to work up to getting 1,000 steps. So that's also me trying to prove myself too, really prove myself to myself that I can do this. So being up for the challenge, that's very 5 of Wands. That's me. Even just doing this right now with the Tarot Tuesdays, that's very 5 of Wands, because this is kind of like, let me try this out, see if it works. Being kind of experimental right now, like sparring. That's very 5 of Wands, like sparring. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I mean, in terms of who I am right now. Where I'm at right now, I got the Hanged Man. I do feel like the Hanged Man because I am like being very like, I'll say this, the hangman can see things that aren't apparent on the surface. And it's like you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And that's kind of how I am right now. And also where I'm kind of being more of myself, meaning like I'm showing y'all like who I am on a more like this is me in my naked form kind of. even the fact that I'm doing this reading about myself during this live stream, very hangman. And also that I'm not trying to be involved in any type of conflict. I'm really trying to, stay in the background because I really don't want any static. I don't want any drama. I don't want none of that. So I'm kind of just being and kind of in a place of what's the word? Limbo too. That's how I kind of feel right now too. Like I'm in limbo and I'm waiting for something because the hangman, and this is the first time the hangman has come up too tonight. The hangman a lot of times is waiting for something, but he's not waiting and he's not being impatient. And that's what I am. I'm waiting for something, but I'm not impatient. I used to be impatient, and I did kind of find myself becoming impatient earlier, maybe a couple of days ago, but then I quickly snapped out of it. And I'm just at this point right now where I'm kind of like, you could also look at the hangman as in a cocoon state. And I do kind of feel like I'm in a cocoon state right now. And then where I'm headed is justice. So that basically means that I have to follow through with some of the things that I said I was going to do, namely that Neptune and Aries video. And again, I already got a lot going on, so I got to find a way to squeeze that Neptune and Aries video in this week because Neptune enters Aries on the 30th of this month, and it's already what, the 25th? So again, it brings me back to that Five of Wands. Like I'm very Five of Wands right now, and I'm headed towards justice. And this makes me think justice too. Like finally, I'm going to get my just desserts. Finally, finally, finally. That's making me feel good. Oh, yes, yes, yes. I like that I got the justice because it's basically saying things are finally going to be in your favor. You're finally going to get what you knew you were meant to get for so long, and it's finally going to happen. Yes, that's how I'm seeing things. Okay, I like that. I got the Justice card, especially because my Venus is in Libra in the ninth house. Ninth house is aspiration. That's even like saying at the end of the day, everything's going to balance out. And justice is a card of peace, too. I like that for myself. I really do. All right, next we have X. X, where you at? X, we're going to do you, and then we're going to end it with Kauai. All right, X, who you are. Wait, let me write down the cards I got. So I got the Five of Wands, because I'm going to explore this further tonight. And then I forgot what cards I got already. I got the Five of Wands. Justice was the where I'm headed. And then I got the Hangman where I'm at right now. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I can see the light. A lot of times that's what the Hangman means. All right. Oh, here you are, ex-Cookie. Ex-Cookie Monster. I used to love me some Cookie Monster. But I used to get so annoyed why all them cookie crumbs just falling out his mouth. I wanted him to swallow the cookies. But that wasn't possible because he was a Muppet. All right. So first card is going to be who you are. Second card, where you're at right now. And third card, where you're headed. All right. You said, for real, I'd be annoyed too. Yeah, I wish they would have put a hole in that damn puppet so they could have made some of the cookies go down his throat. Like, you are such a waste, Cookie Monster. Okay, so this is the second time I got the Temperance card to represent who somebody is. So the Temperance, like I said, it's the moderator. It's the person that doesn't go all the way. You might want to just put your feelers out there. You might just want to stick a foot in, but not jump in with both feet. You might be holding yourself back from doing certain things that you wanted to do, maybe because you feel like it may not work out, or you're just trying to not go to extremes. Sometimes that Temperance card can mean a mixing of things, a combination of things. It can mean that you may even feel like you're not totally solid, meaning sometimes some of us may feel like we're in between worlds, so to speak. So you might be in between worlds right now. You might not be exactly solid and concrete in terms of who you are and who you're becoming. The Temperance card is a card of travel as well. So you might consider yourself a traveler. You might be, already have some trips in the offing. You might already have some trips planned for this year. Let me know if you do. But you might be trying to exercise moderation in terms of the way you live your life. Like if you've been doing things in excess, like either drinking excessively, eating excessively, you might be trying to reel it back in at this point in your life. Oh, I did yours, Smile. I'm almost certain I did yours. I did yours before I did Red November, so that must have been like maybe a half hour ago. Now, where you're at right now is the Four of Cups. So you said, yes, I love traveling, but I want to travel more. Well, start booking some more flights so you can, go places. Definitely. Life is too short. If you want to do something, do it. Don't hesitate. Because you don't want to die with regrets. Now, where you're at right now, I got the Four of Cups, which can mean that somebody might be trying to extend either a helping hand or an opportunity to you, or they might even be trying to, win over your affection or what have you. But with the Four of Cups, it can mean that you're not really buying it. You really don't even want to participate, or you just want to be left alone. You might be in your feelings about something. Four of Cups, like I told someone else, you might be in need of a new perspective. Sometimes with Four of Cups, you could be stuck in a rut. If you are stuck in a rut, try to think of reasons why you got yourself in that position in the first place. And it might have to do with the Temperance card. But that Four of Cups can deal with where you are just basically kind of apathetic or you're kind of jaded. You're not really being stimulated. It might just be the same old, same old. Somebody had mentioned Groundhog Day. I forgot who it was, but they were like, my life is like Groundhog Day. And that Four of Cups might give you a sense of feeling of that. Like, this is just the same shit again. I don't want this again. I don't want the same damn thing. So you say, I know, right? I say the same thing. And then where you're headed. I got the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is more about taking charge of her destiny. The Queen of Swords is more goal oriented. The Queen of Swords is very much about this is who I am, take it or leave it, deal with it. I'm single, I'm happy. I'm in my grown woman phase. I'm not going to let anybody deter me from what I'm trying to achieve in life. And the Queen of Swords is very much about, hey, if you want to travel and you don't have nobody to travel with, you're going to go by yourself. So, X, you said yes. I said the same thing, that I feel like a groundhog. Okay, boom, there it is. And that could be very Four of Cups. And sometimes with the Four of Cups, it can mean you just need a change of scenery. So, again, book a trip, even if it's for a weekend, even if it's just overnight, even if it's the next state over, just to get you out of that rut. If it's not the right time, it could be because of finances or whatever. Even if you just plan the trip now and say, I'm gonna book it when I get some more funds or whatever, that can at least give you something to look forward to, so you don't feel so blah. Because that Four of Cups can make you feel blah, like just like nothing's motivating me, nothing's stimulating me. This same old shit, really. All right, and with that being said, I'm closing the door for the readings, and now we're going to deal with Kauai, and then we're going to say goodnight. And we're right on time, too. So, Kauai, just refresh my memory. You said you wanted a Celtic Cross just about how the rest of this year will go, right? But I just want to thank everybody for participating. This was a great Tarot Tuesdays. This was a really great start to Tarot Tuesdays. So I'm looking forward to doing another Tarot Tuesdays, not next Tuesday, but the week after. So stay tuned for that. And we'll do another topic. Maybe we'll do love life. Maybe I'll post a poll and I'll ask y'all what we should do the next tarot topic on. Should we do love life? Should we do money? Should we do our past? Should we look into our past? So y'all start thinking of, main topics for the Tarot Tuesdays that we could do. We could do a Tarot Tuesday where we just do tarot readings about celebrities and stuff. And, y'all could donate. And then we can, y'all could just tell me what celebrity you want me to look into and all that. So that'll be interesting too. Yes, the door is closed. We're closed for business. It's all about Kauai right now. We're doing a Celtic Cross. For those that don't know, a Celtic Cross is 10 cards, and it's really good for open-ended questions where you just want to know, like, what's the rest of my year looking like? So that's exactly what Kauai Honey wants to know, and the Celtic Cross is perfect for that. So again, the Celtic Cross is 10 cards, and some tarot readers, they, use a certain Celtic Cross dealing with certain positions of the cards. I use one that I learned many years ago, and it tends to work for me. And let's go. I don't use a significator card. Some tarot readers do. I don't. I just start with the card at the center, which is representing where you're at this current point in time. And I'm about to pull it over right now. So where you're at right now, I got the Ten of Swords. Do you feel very Ten of Swords right now, Kauai? Ten of Swords can mean that you got a lot going on. You got a lot on your to-do list. You might have, because I know you work in healthcare, that could deal with a number of patients you have to do, and you got to just check it off of your list. It can deal with a number of assignments that you have to work on. It can deal with the classes that you're taking. The Ten of Swords, a lot of times, because remember, swords is information. So sometimes it could just mean that there's a lot of information coming at you at once. It can mean you're being bombarded with messages. It can mean that somebody is blowing up your email or your phone or whatever like that. But the Ten of Swords can also mean that you are devastated. It could be a sign of devastation over something. It can also mean that something has come to an end and there's no turning back. Okay, you work as a pharmacy tech, so I already know you are busy. The Ten of Swords is representing all the prescriptions that have to be filled and how you have to just go down the line and how they keep piling up, because the Ten of Swords can deal with a pile up of work. And like I said, it can also just deal with where something has come to an end and there's no turning back, but also where there's brighter days ahead. Now, what you're facing is the Four of Swords. Four of Swords can represent maybe you deserve a day off. Maybe you are facing a day off. Maybe you're going to get some time off. Maybe you'll be able to take a little vacation, even if it's a mini vacation, even if it's a staycation. That Four of Swords can also represent that you might need to get some type of examination. If you've been dealing with some type of health problem, you might need to get some type of medical test or medical examination. And you might be in contemplation mode too. The basis. You said CVS is understaffed. Oh yeah, CVS is having a major problem with that. And I want to change job. Interesting. So the Four of Swords can also mean contemplating a change in jobs as well. You got the Ten of Wands for the basis. And the Ten of Wands is a card of ambition. It's a card of trying to make it to the top, but it's also a card about starting from the bottom. Remember that song by Drake, Started from the Bottom, Now We're Here? That's Ten of Wands all day. So it's showing that you have accumulated. It makes me think of all the credits you've accumulated too, because I know you were in school, nursing school and all that. But yeah, it makes me think of all the credits you've accumulated to date, which is representing your ambition and your career goals. And it's representing basically how you've been given a lot of responsibility and work, and how it could be overwhelming at times. Because a lot of times the Ten of Wands is overwhelmed, and it can mean that somebody needs to take off some of this load. But again, we're dealing with the foundation of the situation. Now, the recent past is the Seven of Pentacles, and the Seven of Pentacles can deal with a hiatus or a period where not much is happening. So, did you recently get this job? Like, did you just start working as a pharmacy tech? How long have you had this job? And a lot of times that Seven of Pentacles can point to like some level of dissatisfaction. So even if you had this job at CVS for a while, that Seven of Pentacles could represent even CVS in terms of you saying how they're understaffed. And also Seven of Pentacles can deal with where you reach a plateau too. Now, card number 5 is representing the highest possibility. I got the Eight of Swords, so last November. So it is still pretty recent. That recent past can deal with last November because it's only March. So the highest possibility, that's card number 5. I got the Eight of Swords. So that makes me think that CVS will probably hire some people in the future that's going to take some of the weight off of your shoulders. Your load is going to lighten somewhat, because that Eight of Swords is like somebody coming to your aid, somebody coming to your assistance. But that can also deal with some issue involving travel, where either you have a hard time getting someplace. If you're driving, that could be some issue with traffic, car breaking down, some issue like that. But I think it's going to be where you're going to get some help at CVS, where it's not going to be as understaffed as it was. Now, the near future, we have to put a time frame on this near future. A lot of times it could be like 6 weeks into the future. So let's make it 6 weeks. I see the Queen of Wands, and I'm thinking that's your supervisor or manager. Is your supervisor or manager a woman? That could be the actual pharmacist. There might be another pharmacist that comes on board, or there just might be a change in pharmacists. Let me know if that's the case, because with that Queen of Wands, that's a boss lady. And since you're a pharmacy tech, Queen of Wands wouldn't necessarily equate to pharmacy tech. But the Queen of Wands can also represent something that you're doing that makes you feel like more of a boss. So it might be something that you do outside of work involving creativity, involving something. Let me see. You said also, oh yeah, I remember when your mother passed. I'm so sorry about that. So you said also my mother passed away last year. I'm trying to seek mental health. Okay, that could be very Eight of Swords. I hope you're able to find the help that you really need. That's really going to help you get through this. But yeah, I totally remember when you told me. I am so sorry. Um, Card number 7 is representing you and how you're contributing to this situation, and just basically what you're doing right now and how you'll be affected in the future. I got the Hangman, which makes me think about the reading I did for myself. And the Hangman, again, it could deal with where you are basically becoming enlightened with respect to certain things, but it can also just mean that you're at a period where you are waiting, but waiting patiently. And you're not really doing anything to, like, you're not really being socially active and stuff like that. You're being more introspective, and you're also being very raw in terms of who you are. Because when you see the Hangman, this is like, this is who I am to the core. And I'm not putting on a mask. I'm not, putting on airs. What you see is what you get. That Hangman could also deal with a sacrifice that needs to be made. So let me know if you had to make a sacrifice, your mother passing. That alone is a sacrifice that, of course, you didn't ask for. But sometimes, what do they say? When God closes a door, well, they say he doesn't close the door without opening a window or something like that. So sometimes, and I got this also when I did a reading about my nephew who recently passed. And I wanted to give the reading to my sister, but I don't know if she's ready to receive it yet. So I'm just going to hold on to it until I feel like the time is right. But sometimes people will leave your life, they'll go to the other side because they're more of a help to you on the other side than they are while they're living, if you get what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't be surprised if your mother is still helping you from the other side. I'll say that. And that hangman could even be there's times where you do feel her presence around you, because the hangman can also mean that you're wide open to the goings on the other side or in the other dimensions. You're because when you see that hangman, you're not really fully in this earthly realm. You're kind of in and out. So there could be times where you do sense her presence around you. You might have a dream about her, you might get a vision or something. Now, in terms of your environment and how other people see you, I got the Knight of Swords. So that could deal with where you could be dealing with a hostile environment. Do you feel like CVS is a hostile environment? You said, I will in the future. I will take off from CVS from the externship at LabCorp to become a phlebotomist in the future. Oh, that's very Queen of Wands. Love it. But would you say that CVS could be like kind of hostile in terms of the environment, or you could just say hectic, because the Knight of Swords can mean that there's rushing around, there's just, unpredictability, there's uncertainty going on, there's changes. Every time you turn around, there's changes taking place. So yeah, that Knight of Swords makes me think of CVS all day. Now, your hopes and fears is card number 9. And I got the Two of Cups, and that's making me think of hopes more than fears. So with the Two of Cups, the hope can be making a connection, maybe with a company, a medical center, a hospital, where you can secure a job as a phlebotomist in the future. Oh, you said when I went to order a reading in your website, I didn't find my country number. What about using Zoom? Oh yeah, I do readings via Zoom all the time. So, yep, we could do a Zoom call instead of a phone call. Yep. So once I get done this live stream, I'll respond to your email. Let me see if I got your order confirmation. So I didn't receive your order confirmation yet. So you might have to go back. If you put in the order, you might have to click purchase to just make it official. But yeah, once I receive the confirmation, I'll respond. But we could definitely do it via Zoom. I do Zoom calls all the time. And then Two of Cups, that could be a hope that you make a connection. I don't see this, even though Two of Cups could be romantic connection. I don't really see that in your case. I'm seeing this more professional connection, that you could make a connection with a medical center, a healthcare center, where you could get a good job as a phlebotomist. And that can also deal with counseling that you receive too. And then the outcome, and this is just for the rest of the year, is the Knight of Wands, which makes me think change is going to happen rapidly. Things are going to speed up. And I'm talking about good things in your life. So that makes me think, like, once you get the phlebotomy certificate, it'll be easy for you to get a job. Next thing you know, you'll be making much more money. But you might also be traveling before the year is up too. So Kauai said, I had lucid dreams of my mother around February 27th. Oh, that wasn't that long ago. So yeah, don't be surprised if you have more lucid dreams about her, because you're being represented by the hangman in this reading, which means you're wide open to receive those messages from the other side. And then Knight of Wands, again, that's the outcome card. That's a good card to end the year with, because that's saying you're going to end the year on a high note. And you might be traveling, you might go somewhere for an event where it's exciting, it's full of fun and stuff. But again, that Knight of Wands can also show you're going to be making some moves. It's going to happen very quickly that are going to benefit you, that are going to be for the better. And I'm looking at the Knight of Wands. That's like saying onward and upward, which is a good way to end this live stream, ending it on a positive note, onward and upward. Yes. that is basically, it looks like you're going to have a very positive year. Like the remaining of this year is going to be very positive. Nothing negative really came up in this reading. And the most negative card, that's that Ten of Swords. And we already discussed what that's about. That's your work at CVS as the pharmacy tech. But that's also, dealing with the recent loss and all that type of stuff. Like I said, things coming to an end and there's no turning back. The Ten of Swords can represent a death. But yes, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if your mother is still helping you from the other side. And sometimes I do believe that some souls feel like they can help us better when they're on the other side than when they're on earth with us. So, with that being said, I just want to thank everybody again for participating in this first session of Tarot Tuesdays. I really enjoyed myself. I hope y'all enjoyed yourself too. I hope y'all got some insight from the card readings. And like I said, start thinking about what you want the next Tarot Tuesdays to be about. It could be about love, it could be about money, it could be about celebrities, it could be about a historical event. And we do some readings to get some insight into why it happened and what, all the wherefores and why. But I gotta run. I gotta get my steps in because I gotta stay consistent. But yes, everybody have a lovely evening. I'll be back soon. I think the next video I put out will be a sponsored video. It will be Jupiter's sponsored video. So stay tuned for that. Peace, many blessings.